Today we will step into the storm, into the sacred moment when courage met cruelty and truth stood unshaken before an evil empire, leading to a sacrifice so divine it changed the course of history forever. The Shaheedi of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, the warrior saint who gave their life not for their own faith but for the freedom of others, for the protection of others, for their right to believe, their right to live and breathe and exist, a sacrifice like no other. A storm of tyranny, death, torture and enslavement. A storm of inequality, forced conversions, self-insecurity and corrupted power. A storm fueled by the misguided ego of the sixth Mughal emperor, one of the most vile and evil of all, Muhyiddin Muhammad. But history remembers him by another name, Aurangzeb Alamgir. He began to order the demolition of Hindu temples, of mandirs, and he ordered that Hindu scholars should study in Islamic schools and mosques and madrase, and this was to be done by force. The Kashmiri Pandits cried before the Guru in much distress, "O Guru Ji, you are the master of this world, and you are our only help, as Aurangzeb now is like a drunk elephant who is hammering against the tree of Hinduism and is knocking it from the roots. Please save us. Save our Sanatan Dharam. Please be the support of our Dharam. If you do not, there will not even be one Hindu left in this world." Aurangzeb ordered him to give up his faith or be killed right now on this day. And Bhai Mati Das' response told them everything. "If it's to be, let me sacrifice and die facing my Guru." Aurangzeb was boiling in anger. He ordered Bhai Mati Das Ji to be placed between two planks of wood and sawn in half, tortured and killed. They saw through flesh and bone starting at the head, but Bhai Mati Das Ji's lips came not a single cry, only the shabads of Gurbani. The gates opened and Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, more than 6 foot tall, broad-shouldered, serene, stepped out of the cage, his face glowing like 1,000 suns. The saviour of freedom bowed their head. Then as they raised their head, a sharp inhale, then a deep silence. Jalaluddin swung his sword at the head of the Guru with full might. He's never swung a sword like he did this day. But the head was already gone. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. This is the 5th and final chapter in this podcast series of our brief journey into the life of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib. And today we will step into the storm, into the sacred moment when courage met cruelty and truth stood unshaken before an evil empire, leading to a sacrifice so divine it changed the course of history forever. The Shaheedi of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, the warrior saint who gave their life not for their own faith but for the freedom of others, for the protection of others, for their right to believe, their right to live and breathe and exist, a sacrifice like no other. And today we are going to start by picking up where we left off in the last episode. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib are now living in Anandpur, the city they established and founded. Guruji had been on their great journey to the east, blessing many, and we heard how in the area of Patna Sahib, their son Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj had taken birth, and they would soon also be joining Guruji in Anandpur with the rest of the family. And in Anandpur Sahib, everyone lived in utter divine bliss. The people were happy, really happy and blessed. Darbars took place daily with kirtan and katha and beautiful delicious langar, and everyone enjoyed it. People came from far and wide and Guruji blessed all of them. It was perfection, just the most beautiful and awesome of times. But not all was good. For some distance away, a wicked storm was brewing, and it had been for some time. A storm of tyranny, death, torture and enslavement. A storm of inequality, forced conversions, self-insecurity and corrupted power. A storm fueled by the misguided ego of the 6th Mughal emperor, one of the most vile and evil of all, Muhyiddin Muhammad. But history remembers him by another name, Aurangzeb Alamgir. the seasoned captor of the world. And some tell tales of how great he was. But the truth is much darker. He was not a saint of faith, he was a tyrant in the robe of piety. And before he wore a crown, he wore betrayal. In his ascent to power, he imprisoned his very own father, Shah Jahan, in the fort of Agra for 8 long years, eventually starving him to death, starving his own father to death. And the old emperor withered away in hunger and grief, in sadness, depression and disbelief. He died the most miserable death at the hands of his own flesh and blood, his own son. For what? The pursuit of power, a throne. And before this, Aurangzeb, he turned his sword on his own brothers. He went on to murder his older brother Dara Sakor. After having him executed, his head was sent to their father Shah Jahan while he was incarcerated in that very Agra fort. He had his other brother Murad Bakhsh executed after keeping him imprisoned for 3 years. He had his own son Muazzim disgraced and exiled from the kingdom. He had his own nephew Sulaiman Sakor imprisoned, poisoned and killed. This just exemplifies the type of ruthless individual Aurangzeb was. A cruel, bigoted warlord who would not even spare his own family. What chance does everyone else have? He doesn't even spare his own father and brothers for the greed of the throne. And his crimes seem to inspire an outpouring of religious fanaticism within him, probably to make up for this. And he took to spreading his version of militant Sharia law with a vengeance, adopting a dogmatism that required everybody else to do the same, to kill or convert everyone in his kingdom. That was his mission. And it got recorded that before Aurangzeb got on the throne in 1658 as the emperor, he promised he would make the whole of the subcontinent Muslim. It was said that following the murder of his own father and brothers, he became hated by many of his own people who had once respected him and praised him as being a great Bahadur, people who told tales of his bravery, exemplified when, at the age of 15, he lanced a charging elephant who had broken free and was trampling through the Mughal imperial encampment. He was known for his bravery, and then he got known for his tyranny, killing his own father and brothers. And so, because of this, he lost favour amongst his peers, and because of this, he sent for his trusted advisors, respected priests and imams. He called them all together, and he asked for their advice of what he could do to regain the support and sympathy of his fellow Mohammedans. Their reply and advice was simple: convert the Hindu populace into Islam. Doing this, you'll win everybody over. And so it began. Seeking a way to win back the hearts of his followers, and as part of his fanatical mission, Aurangzeb even compiled the Fatwa al-Alamgiri and established his own version of Sharia law throughout the Indian subcontinent. The Fatwa al-Alamgiri was a Sharia-based compilation on statecraft, general ethics, military strategy, economic policy, justice and punishment, and that served as the law and the principal regulating body of the Mughal Empire during his reign. And Aurangzeb ruled over 150 million people, more than the entire population of Europe and North America at the time. His Mughal kingdom stretched across 3.2 million square kilometers. The imperial treasury boasted lavish collection of gems, diamonds and gold that made Aurangzeb most likely the richest man of his time. And with his abundance of wealth and resources, and with his fanatical ideals, he set off on his mission. He began to order the demolition of Hindu temples, of mandirs, and he ordered that Hindu scholars should study in Islamic schools and mosques and madrasas, and this was to be done by force. Aurangzeb was so intolerant that apart from even the Hindus, he couldn't tolerate other sects of Muslims like Shia and Sufis who had opinions that were different to his own. So he began to oppress them as well. A special department was formed for the mass conversion of Hindus, especially into Islam. The then head of Kashmir region was Sharif Khan, and he was given a key role in Aurangzeb's mission. And by the order of Aurangzeb and by the power of the sword, Sharif Khan began to terrorize the Hindus of Kashmir and convert them into Islam. Kashmir was chosen as the first area to mass convert because the Kashmiri Hindu Pandits were the most devout, the most religious, the most educated of all the Hindus. And it was thought if they convert, then the rest would follow easily their example. They wouldn't even stand a chance. And also, Kashmir was an area of great poverty, and the people there would easily be persuaded and tempted by promises of money, land and government-appointed roles. Aurangzeb wrote to Sharif Khan telling him, "Make the state of Kashmir into an Islamic state. Do this by converting the Hindus through greed of wealth. Give them money and land, even marriage if needed. Convert them in mass and large numbers. And many of the poor Hindu populace will convert through the greed of money and land. Show influence and influence their thoughts. Speak to them sweetly. Explain to them through converting they will gain all the ease and peace and sukh, all the comforts of the world. If sweet speech and bribes fail, then use your power and use the sword. Use all the force you need to accomplish this task and mission. Do this by any means necessary. And for those Hindus who are steadfast in their beliefs, and whom are rich in wealth and knowledge, and whom have studied and are educated, well versed in the Vedas and the Shastras, slowly convert them too." Sharif Khan invited all the Hindu Brahmins to his court. There he presented them with this order to convert into Islam, and he showed them the letter of the Mughal emperor, the mighty Mughal emperor Aurangzeb. The Brahmins, on reading this letter, fell into the state of shock. They were deeply saddened, in a state of distress and panic. In complete astonishment, they sat in silence, unable to give a response, unable to speak. But after some time, they spoke. And they said, "This has never happened before. No emperor has ever forced conversions in such a way, on such a mass scale. This is zulm what you're doing. Zulm against mankind, a great oppression, and it's wrong. Each being deserves their right to practice their own dharam and religion freely. And our dharam is most beloved to us. How can we abandon our faith, which was practiced by our fathers and forefathers and ancestors, our faith which has existed since the world came into existence?" They cried and they begged on their knees. They cried and begged Sharif Khan not to be so cruel. They told him that we can't abandon our faith. And after this conversation and interaction with Sharif Khan, the Kashmiri Pandits left in silence. Given time to think about the situation, with great sadness they left for their homes to ponder their fate and future. And after some days had passed, a message came from Aurangzeb to Sharif Khan. It was a stern message now, underlining the seriousness and nature of this task at hand, invoking fear and anger in the heart of Sher Khan. The mass conversions of the Hindus then began, starting with the easiest targets first. Whole poor Hindu Pandits villages were converted en masse, and the mission spread to the more mountainous areas. Over and over, many Hindus were gathered, herded together like sheep to a common area where they were ordered to abandon their faith, and their janu were cut and collected. The janu is a sacred free-stranded cotton thread that is worn by each and every Hindu Brahman of India. The free strands represent Brahma, Vishnu and Shiv Ji. And each day Hindus were converted, and each day the janus were cut off and collected till they reached the weight of at least 50 kilograms. And remember, each janu weighed no more than a few grams, so it would take thousands, if not tens of thousands, to reach that 50 kilogram weight. Those who did not convert were killed. Other Hindus who would not convert and Sher Afghan Khan's troops could not capture, they fled the country. Even Muslims who helped them in any way or assisted the Hindus were mercilessly put to death. Hindu homes were turned to rubble and their temples destroyed and turned into mosques. Cows sacred to those of the Hindu faith were slaughtered in their temples. Hindu Pandits were force-fed the raw flesh and beef meat of the cows, and flesh and blood of these cows were thrown into all of the wells, so all available drinking water was contaminated, and the Hindus had no option but to drink this water, and in doing so lose their faith. The majority of the area of Kashmir had started to get converted into Islam. Khatris and Brahmins were converted in great numbers. The Khatris who converted were known as Kheke and the Brahmins Bebe. Many who converted were bribed and given large sums of money, and in this way Hindus were losing their faith. Sher Afghan Khan once again called the Brahmin Kashmiri Pandits to his court, and he offered them to lose their faith and to embrace the deen of Islam, to bow and perform the Shahada, the testimony of faith, and to read the Kalma. The Kashmiri Pandits were in great stress and worry. They conferred between themselves, and in English they turned to each other. What shall we do? There's no place left to hide. And then they thought, let us go to Amar Nath temple, the seat of the Lord Shiv Ji himself. We will beg for his protection. We will die in penance and prayers if we must, but not in betrayal. We won't give up our faith, we will beg before Shiv Ji. And the Kashmiri Pandits then begged, and they begged Sher Afghan Khan this time, and they requested more time. And they said, give us 6 months. 6 months to ponder this issue and our fate, after which you may do whatever you want, and we will be all yours. But give us this time, and once we convert, everybody will. And Sher Afghan Khan agreed to their proposition, and the Kashmiri Pandits got up and left. With 6 months left to ponder their fate and their dharam and their lives, they were in the most desperate of positions and in the most desperate of times. What were they to do? Who could save them now? Only time will tell. The Kashmiri Pandits headed towards Amar Nath to beg and plea before Shiv Ji for his help to save the Hindu Dharam. And at Amar Nath they got ready, having Ishnan and placing their offerings at this divine shrine. They began to sing the praises of Shiv Ji day and night non-stop. No food, no water, no sleep, only tears, chants and breathless prayers. Days passed, with the Kashmiri Brahmins crying at the shrine, begging for their Lord's help. Some, due to exhaustion, fainted, collapsing due to the lack of food, water and sleep. Others becoming unconscious after calling out over many days, and their only wish was to save their Hindu Dharam. Others continued their penance, continuing to meditate diligently. Some sitting on animal skins, concentrating fully and deeply while bearing the pains, their eyes filled with tears. In utter desperation they cried out to Shiv Ji, performed havans. They are making sacrifices, crying out, "O Mahadev, Shiv Ji, help us." In pain and desperation they prayed for their faith to be preserved and protected. And in desperation they were doing whatever they could. And after 8 days of this penance and worship at the door of their Lord, their only hope, the Lord Shiv Ji listened to their plea and wrote them a letter. As they were standing and sitting in a circle begging and praying for help, with an hour and a half left till sunset, a letter falls from the sky and it lands on the floor in the middle of the circle. Seeing this they become astonished and shocked. Opening the letter they see the beautifully written, perfectly formed Sanskrit letters, and this letter was written by none other than Shiv Ji himself. And one of them took the letter in his hands as they trembled, and he read it out attentively to the others as they tuned in and listened to every word, rejuvenated and fully focused on the words of Shiv Ji being read out loud. And the letter read out, "Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji is the greatest. Guru Nanak is capable of anything. He is the only one that can save you. I cannot help you now. I cannot save you. The house of the Guru can save all. Go and seek the shelter of the true Guru who now sits on the throne of Guru Nanak. Humbly go to the house of Nanak. The Guru will save you from this atrocity and preserve your dharma. Take this letter to the Guru and tell him of your conditions in this whole situation. He will save you. There is none else who can save you. Go in faith now. Eat and restore your energy, then go to the Guru. And always have faith in the Guru. The Pandits, after reading this letter and listening to the letter, then converse amongst themselves and ask, who is the Guru now? Who sits on the throne of Guru Nanak Dev Ji? And out of all the Pandits present, there's one who has knowledge of the Guru and the house of Guru Nanak. He stepped forward and he said to everyone, the current Guru is Guru Tegh Bahadur. I know about the house of the Guru. The sixth Nanak, Guru HarGobind Sahib, once came to Kashmir. He came here because there was an elderly lady, my Bagh Bedi, who was a follower of the Guru, and she was unable to travel to him. So the Guru came to her because she wholeheartedly remembered him. And he came here to bless her in the congregation in Kashmir. And this Guru, the sixth Nanak, Guru HarGobind Sahib, had 5 sons: Baba Atal Rai, Baba Gurditta, Baba Surajmal, Baba Anirai, and Tegh Bahadur. Guru HarGobind Sahib passed the Guruship on to his grandson, Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji, whom passed the Guruship on to his son, Guru HarKrishan Sahib Ji. And Guru HarKrishan Sahib Ji was very young, only a child when he became the Guru. He stayed on the throne of Guru Nanak for 2 years before merging back into the formless. And before he departed from this world, he uttered the next Guru is in Bakala. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib spent over 26 years and 9 months in deep meditation at Bakala, and he was revealed there as the true Guru. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib is the current Guru. We should go and humbly plea before him, for only he can save us in our cause. Sikh travel from far and wide to see their Guru, and he listens to everybody's plea. Then why won't he listen to ours? And in this way the Pandits made preparations and set off to see the Guru. They crossed the Bir Panjal mountain ranges, then the Ratan Panjal mountain ranges, passed through Rajnori, this was the place where Banda Singh Bahadur was born, and then Bimbar, and then arrived at Siri Amritsar Sahib. Here they matha teked at Siri Darbar Sahib and found out about the Guru's whereabouts from the Sikh there present. And they heard about the greatness of the Guru, and this filled them with hope and bliss. They were feeling hopeful as they head on forwards in their journey towards Anandpur Sahib, crossing the Bias River and travelling through Doaba, then arriving at the beautiful and blissful city of Anandpur Sahib. They were impressed with the beauty of this city, and they take rest for the night before they would go out and see the Guru the next day. And in the morning they rise early, and they get ready, and they travel to the court of the Guru, bringing with them various gifts for Guru Sahib. And they approach one of the Sevadars by the Guru's Darbar and inquire about having darshan of the Guru and entering the divine court. The Sevadar, the court assistants, arranged for them to enter the Darbar of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, and they told Guru Sahib, Pandits from Kashmir have come to meet you. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib gave the assistant permission to bring them forward. The 15 Kashmiri Pandits are led by Kirparam, and he is the son of Arhuram, grandson of Narayan Das Pandit, the great-grandson of Brahmdatt Pandit, descendant of Thakur Mohil Brahman. He is the most senior and learned and respected of all the Pandits, and they follow him into the Guru's Darbar. And on entering the beautiful Darbar of the Guru, they are overwhelmed and they bow before Guruji, touching their forehead to the ground before Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib. And just seeing Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, they recognize that he is the true Guru, and they understand that yes, this is the one that can save our dharma. They present various different gifts, including expensive shawls from Kashmir, Kashmiri shawls, apples, various other fruits, such as flowers as well, and sweets. And the all-knowing Guruji sits them down, his beto. Then he asks them about their well-being. He asks them, looking at the various Pandits, that how are things in Kashmir? You are all sages and well-learned Pandits. Where are your disciples and attendants and Sevadar? Why didn't they come with you? Why didn't the Sangat come with you? And then Guruji asks further, Did you come just to see me for blessings? Or is there a deeper reason for your visit? Tell me. And Pandit Kirparam replies, just as a ripened fruit hanging on a tree, hanging on the branch is obvious for all to see, so is the past, present and future of all the worlds obvious to you, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib. You're the master, you're truly great, and you know the inner feeling of our hearts, you know why we're here. But he still went on to explain. And he explained the whole situation to the Guru, telling him of the persecutions, the mass conversions, the killing, the oppression taking place, and how the ground has been soaked in blood. And he told him about the Janoos being cut, and they told them about Sher Muhammad Khan, and he told them the 6 months, and then what happened at Amar Nath. And they showed Guruji the letter from Shiv Ji written in Sanskrit about Guruji and the house of Nanak being the only one who can save their dharma. The Kashmiri Pandits cried before the Guru in much distress. And they said, "O Guruji, you are the master of this world, and you are our only help, as Aurangzeb now is like a drunk elephant who is hammering against the tree of Hinduism and is knocking it from the roots. Please save us. Save our Sanatan Dharma. If not, we will drown in tyranny. You can save us from drowning. Wherever there is atrocity towards a faith or mankind, Rab the Almighty always comes in different forms to save it. In Kal Yug, you are the Almighty's form. Please be the support of our Dharma. If you do not, there will not even be one Hindu left in this world. Ever. There will be no one left to worship the deities. The very name of the Dharma will be erased from the dunya. So please, Guruji, save our Dharma." Like this they pleaded before Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, and at the same time they sung the praises of Guru Sahib. After listening to the Brahmans, Guruji started pondering over the issue. The Mughals were blessed this kingdom by Guruji themselves when they were in their first form as Guru Nanak Dev Ji, a boon given to the Mughal Emperor Babur that they would have a great empire. But it was also foretold their empire and kingdom would crumble and fall after they start to commit much sin through oppression and tyranny, and that time was now upon us. It was evident. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji then sat in silence, in deep contemplation, holding the letter of Shiv Ji in their hands. The darbar was filled with silence, and for some time Guruji sat in Pangti with their eyes closed, and the time passed. They say around 96 minutes. After this time, Guruji opened their eyes. The Pandits sitting before them with such patience and love. Now, I've also been told by elderly Nihang Singhs that were staying in the Tarna Dal Baba Bakala that it was around this time that the young Guru Gobind Singh, Guru Gobind Rai, approached their beloved father and asked, "Who are these people? Who are these people who have come in such distress?" And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib replied to their son Gobind Rai, saying, "These are the most devout and learned Pandits from Kashmir, and they have come here because their faith and their lives are at stake. For this reason they are upset. For this reason they are crying. The Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb has said to kill them or to convert them. Their dharma and their way of life is now at risk. And it's the same for every Hindu. Sher Afghan Suba has given the task of converting all the Pandits, and he is doing this so viciously in Kashmir. This task was taken up in haste with utmost seriousness and tenacity, and raging through Kashmir, many Hindus are giving up their faith." Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji goes on to tell the young Gobind Rai, for this reason they have come to the sanctity and the shelter of the house of Guru Nanak. They are asking for their faith, their dharma, their religion to be saved. And the young Gobind asks their father, Guru Tegh Bahadur, how can their dharma be saved? And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib explains, for their dharma to be saved, there must be a great sacrifice. A sacrifice must take place. Through sacrificing only can they be saved. A chaste one of devout faith, love and courage must lay down his life. A great saint must give his head for their dharma to survive, for freedom to survive, for love to survive. And Gobind Rai answers their father, Pitaji, there is no bigger saint, man of faith, of courage or love than you. There is no Guru, no Mahapurush, no one who can match you. You are the biggest of them all. No one on your level even exists, nor will they exist. Take their hand and you save them. You yourself are the one, the only one big enough. You yourself will have to sacrifice to save them and their faith. And so was it to be. The words of the young Guru Gobind Singh, Gobind Rai at the time, struck, and Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib would sacrifice his life and head to Delhi to save the Kashmiri Pandits and their whole faith and dharma. And then just like that, after a period of silence and contemplation, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib tells the Hindu Pandits not to worry, that he would protect and preserve their dharma. He tells them, "Oh dear Pandits, go to Delhi and tell the Emperor Aurangzeb that you came to the sanctity and the shelter of the house of Guru Nanak. Tell them whatever path Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji chooses, all the Hindus will do the same. And that when you all say this, the Emperor will call me to Delhi, and then when that time comes, I will do whatever it takes to protect your dharma." Upon listening to this, the Brahmins were delighted and they uttered many praises of Guruji. They stayed in the blissful city of Anandpur Sahib for 2 or 3 more days, and during these days they sat in the divans and listened to Guruji's words with such beauty and attention. They would listen and partake in the singing of Kirtan, and they enjoyed the langar. Then before leaving for Delhi, they took Guruji's blessings and permission to depart. They left for Delhi as instructed by the Guru. Many other intellectual Brahmins, heads of mandars and learned scholars of the Hindu dharma joined them on this trip to Delhi. The word of the cruelty of Aurangzeb and his mission to convert every single Hindu had spread far and wide across the land. It became known that the Kashmiri Pandits had come to see Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib and were now travelling to Delhi as per the Guru's instruction. Many of the Brahmins from across the land had joined them in Delhi, where they would request an audience with the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb himself, as instructed by Guruji. And here, hundreds of Pandits arrived, then thousands from Kashmir, Jammu, Peshawar and all over India, their saffron robes blazing against the dust. They came together now in their hour of desperation. Their only hope, their faith, their fate was all in the hands of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, and they came together to let that be known. And when they reached the gates of the Lal Qila, the royal guard stopped them. "Why are so many of you here?" And the Pandits answered with dignity, "We are the scholars of the Hindu dharma, and we came to lay our plan and our pain before the Emperor." The guards reported this to the throne, and Aurangzeb listened, narrowing his eyes. "This must concern the Sharia plan we have. This is what I wanted," he said. "Let them in, let them enter." And recognizing them as the most devout Hindu Pandits and heads of the dharma, they were granted an audience with the Emperor in his royal court, the Divan al-Alam. And what a court it was. Aurangzeb was seated on a large throne and flanked by many of his egotistical governors, Maulanas and Qazis, all seated around him, all of whom were dressed in the finest of clothing, fabric, ornaments and jewellery. And it was said there were 1,400 court attendees in the royal court at any time, all high-ranking and well-educated officials. Now this just exemplifies the size of the Mughal Darbar and court at this time, the biggest of its time, one of the biggest in history. The collective group of Brahmins fearfully and nervously huddled into the court, bowing low and saying salam to the Emperor. Then one amongst them speaks out, saying, "O King, we come not in rebellion, but in agony. We are the Pandits from across the land. Led by the Pandits of Kashmir, We are here because of the atrocities taking place against our dharam. We are here to cry and plead before you our way of life. Our dharam is now in its final times and last of days. This is because of you and your orders. We are helpless, that's why we are here. Your command was to bring all the Hindus into the Sharia. All the Brahmins and Pandits have survived because of our followers of the Hindu faith who feed us and look after us. And before the Mughals came to this land, to Hindustan, this place was ruled by the Kshatris, and they used to feed us and care for us. They were our protectors and providers. They were like a blanket protecting us. And now there is an even bigger blanket that is protecting us, which will look after us, our way of life, our religion, our deities, and our dharma. It's the blanket of the great Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, who sits on the most praiseworthy and respected throne of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the true king. We have all bowed to them and taken the shelter of the house of Guru Nanak, and there is no other like the Guru. The divine Guru fulfills everyone's wishes who come to him. Whatever Guru says to us is a hukam, a divine command, and the Guru has told us that he will protect our faith, and we will do whatever the Guru asks of us. It is all up to the Guru now if the Hindu faith is to survive. We are forever in his shelter. The choice is under him. If you bring the Guru under Sharia, then we will all follow. Whatever the Guru does, we will all follow, and so will every other Hindu. All the Hindus will do the same willingly. Once we do it, they will follow, and you will not need any force from your side. Our faith right now is in the hands of the Guru. It's in the hands of Guru Tegh Bahadur. That's why we came to tell you that you do what you need to. You bring the Guru here, talk to them, convert them, and all of us will do the same. If he refuses, then so will we. Call the Guru to Delhi, settle this issue, and the Guru will decide our fate and the fate of our faith and our dharam. And listening to this, Aurangzeb replies, "Oh, Pandits and Brahmins, we have a deal. I should do exactly as you requested. I will convert the Guru into Islam, and doing so, all of you will follow. Then all of the other Hindus from across the land, all of them, they will all convert willingly and easily. There will only be one faith of the land. And when you see the Guru convert to Islam, you will convert. I will watch this myself. And furthermore, when Guruji converts, I will get him to perform many miracles, and these miracles will mesmerize many and build my power and convert others as well." The emperors and his advisors were very happy by this idea. They talked amongst themselves and laughed of how this would be a great and easy victory for them. But these fools did not realize, and little did they know, that it would be their own kingdom which would be finished. And so it was decided Aurangzeb would call Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib to Delhi immediately. Just how Ram Rai came to Delhi and performed many miracles, Aurangzeb foolishly thought that Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji would do the same. Oh, little did he know. Aurangzeb, Alamgir, then called forth two of his most loyal and best emissaries. On an urgent mission, they were sent to travel to Anandpur Sahib to meet with the Guru and call him to Delhi. And from the marble halls of Delhi, two royal messengers immediately set off on their journey to Anandpur, which was roughly 300 to 325 kilometers from Delhi. These messengers sat on a manja bed, which was lifted by four people on the four corners and carried above their heads. And in this way, the messengers were carried to Anandpur. The messengers were accompanied by their servants, their cooks, their bodyguards and their entourage. Altogether there were around 12 to 15 of them travelling to Anandpur Sahib. They used to stay and eat like kings. They were the representatives of the empire and the emperor, so they travelled and lived in such a way. It only makes sense. And on the way, it was the common people who were forced to carry them. Wherever they stopped, they took whatever they wanted. Out of fear, the villagers would comply and their every request. And where they stopped, they would kill the farmers' livestock, take what they wanted, so they could eat meat, take anything from any shop, and they would eat only the most luscious and delicious of foods: butter, ghee, sweets, mithai, milk and nuts. And after many days they reached Anandpur Sahib after crossing the Satluj River. All the way these messengers were carried on the heads of poor villagers and the Garib. And arriving in Anandpur Sahib, the messengers prepared to go and see Guruji. They made it known that they are the great respected messengers of the Emperor Aurangzeb, and they demanded to have an audience with the Guru. They were told to wait outside, and when they got permission from Guru Sahib, only then they could enter. The Peredar came before Guru Sahib and informed them Aurangzeb's messengers are here and wish to see Guruji. And Guruji laughed. He said, "So finally the messengers of Dharamraj have come. It's time to answer the call for the Pandits of Kashmir." And Bhai Mati Das, beloved and loyal Sikh who was sitting close, heard these words. And he heard Guruji say this. He said, "Guruji, but what seems to be the matter? The Emperor Aurangzeb knows very well of the house of Guru Nanak. He will hold you in great esteem. He has great respect for Ram Rai, whom he sits next to him and gives him much money and riches." Now Ram Rai was the grandson of Baba Gurditta, the brother of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. Ram Rai was the son of the eldest son of Guru HarGobind Sahib Ji, the seventh Guru. And you see, after Aurangzeb imprisoned his own father and he had finally wrestled the Mughal throne away from his eldest brother Dara Shikoh, who their father Shah Jahan actually preferred to be the next emperor, Aurangzeb was in fact goaded by members of his court into accusing Guru HarGobind Sahib Ji of giving Dara Shikoh support, giving his older brother Dara Shikoh support for his right to the Mughal throne. Aurangzeb then demanded that Guru HarGobind Sahib Ji make an appearance in Delhi to explain the situation, but instead Guru Sahib sent his oldest son Ram Rai. And Ram Rai was well received by Aurangzeb, and Ram Rai not only satisfactorily responded to all the concerns that Aurangzeb had, he also impressed the emperor with his cleverness, and as a result Ram Rai was requested to stay as a state guest for some period. And one day, after some prodding by the Imams and Islamic scholars, Aurangzeb asked Ram Rai why Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the first Sikh Guru, had criticised the Islamic faith in their Bani, especially in the slok Mitti Musalmaan Ki. Ram Rai now satisfied the assembled Muslims by saying that the line Mitti Musalmaan Ki had been in fact copied incorrectly, and the actual writing was correctly Mitti Beiman Ki and not Musalmaan Ki. It was written down by mistake. When Ram Rai was in fact sent to Delhi, he was strictly instructed only to explain the Guru's position. But to soothe the mind and the ego of the host Aurangzeb, Ram Rai chose to misinterpret and in fact change Guru Nanak Dev Ji's writings. Something his father and every single Sikh knew was wrong and he'd been instructed was completely and utterly forbidden. Further, it had been said that Ram Rai performed miracles for Aurangzeb's pleasure. And when Guru HarGobind Sahib Ji heard of this incident, he forbade Ram Rai from ever returning home. "You've gone now, never come back." Guruji's words in Gurbani is absolutely divine revelation and not subject to modifications by anyone, no matter what. Even if your family, you're out. And the performance of miracles for show, this is actively discouraged in Sikhin. It's a big no-no. Though Ram Rai managed to please Aurangzeb, he lost his dharam in the process. Changing the sacred shabads of Gurbani and being a performance act clown doing miracles. Because of this, Guru HarGobind Sahib Ji forbade him from coming back, and every single Sikh up until this day has been forbade that we must not associate with Ram Rai or anyone from his family lineage now due to this. Anyone who follows Ram Rai, we are not allowed to see them. Ram Rai now resides in Delhi, and since that time he's been excommunicated from the Sikh Panth. However, in Delhi he was being treated greatly by Aurangzeb, and Mati Das thought innocently that the same respect and love would be given to Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, knowing that Ram Rai was the younger of the Guru, that he was like a grandnephew or something like that, and that Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib was older and greater. Matti Das was just saying how he felt. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib listened to this and then explained that everything that will happen is in the will of Akal Purkh. Nothing is controlled by anyone else, and we will never see eye to eye with Aurangzeb. We are people of God, and they are people of the world. We will not bow, we will not bend the knee, and we will not perform miracles for show. He has faith in the world, they have faith in miracles and stuff. We have faith in Akal Purkh Vaheguru. And Aurangzeb knows nothing of Vaheguru. He is a puppy and a tyrant. He cares about power, he cares about numbers, he cares about converting people for land and all of this. And for that, we do not care. We will never give up our faith. And this will further be revealed in the days to come. And Guruji went on to say, only that happens which Parmeshwar Vaheguru permits. Guruji then told the Peredar, called forth the messengers of Aurangzeb. And the Sikhs, sitting close, listened to Guruji's message and took it in. They understood. Guruji was sitting on their asan when the messengers came in. They looked at the Guru, who looked like the rising sun, shining brightly. Such was their pratap, the aura and presence. And then when the messengers entered, their pride and ego melted. Before them sat a being radiant with peace, motionless, beyond joy and sorrow, and they bowed instinctively, and their lips murmured an Islamic salute without thought. They just bowed, it just happened. In front of greatness, some things just happened. And the messengers, seeing the Guru, that realized this is a man of God. They saw Guruji as beyond this world, and they bowed before him. They saw the court around him, calm faces, eyes full of love, and they felt a stillness they had never experienced or felt before. And usually these egotistical messengers, they never bow to anyone, they take what they want. But on this day, they felt something in the presence of the true greatness. And then they mentioned that they had brought a message, a letter from Aurangzeb. The all-knowing Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji listened as Bhai Mati Das Ji read out the letter by Aurangzeb. And the letter read out, Guru Sahib, we have heard your praises, and that's why we wish to see you. Please come here and give us a glimpse of you and your blessings in Delhi. We wish to meet you during our lifetime. Please bless us with your presence. Guruji, the knower of all, then signalled to Mati Das Ji to reply and to write a reply. And a reply was written saying that if you wish to see me, then so shall it be. We will be coming to Delhi. We will meet you. And which is just, which is right, that will be fulfilled. What you wish will be addressed. You will receive what is due to you. And in this message, Guru Sahib was signalling what you do, what will be done, as in Aurangzeb is a tyrant and wants to commit tyranny. This will take place and happen. What you want, what you lust for, this will happen. And the message to be given was given to the messengers. And they were very humble in the presence of the Guru. They accepted the letter, bowed, had langar, and then left, travelling back to Delhi. On arrival back in Delhi, they handed the letter to Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb received the message and had it read aloud. That the Guru will be seeing him soon, and that the Guru after some time would come to Delhi after the rainy season had passed. And so was it to be. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib were now to travel to Delhi to meet Aurangzeb. And it was common practice at the time that no one would really travel or go anywhere during the rainy season, as with the rain, the roads and pathways become very muddy, travel becomes somewhat difficult and treacherous, rivers tend to overflow and crossing them gets difficult, floods happen and visibility is decreased. So it's accepted that people don't travel during this time. And in Delhi, Aurangzeb is with his messengers and he's pondering about the Guru coming to Delhi. He wonders, will the Guru actually come to Delhi without being escorted? Will he actually come by his own accord? Meanwhile, in Anandpur Sahib, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib is preparing and getting ready to leave Sri Anandpur Sahib for what would be the very last time, taking with them only a handful of Sikh, Bhai Mati Das Ji, Bhai Sati Das Ji, Bhai Dayala Ji, Bhai Uday Ji and Bhai Guru Tegh Ji, Baba Buddha Ji's grandson and father of Baba Ram Kaur Ji, who would later go on to perform the Tilak Gurta Gaddi ceremony on Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj. Guru Ji and his small band of Gursikhs leave Anandpur Sahib together, never to return, to change the course of history forever, leaving a legacy which will be remembered to the end of time. And before leaving, Guru Sahib instructed the Masans to return to their homes and spread Sikhi there. Guru Sahib instructed the Sikh of Anandpur Sahib to keep the Maryada, the law langar, the kirtan, the simran, the divans, and keep this place in Chardi Kala. Many were confused at this whole situation. Guruji is now sending many back to their homes, and they themselves are leaving with only a handful of Sikh. And usually when Guruji travelled, many thousands of people travelled with them. The Fauj, the army of the Guru, many holy fakirs and santas, sevadars, Gursikhs, Langri, Sangat would always travel with the Guru, and the Guru's family would also come along. But Guruji today is leaving with only 5 Sikh. And from Anandpur Sahib, saying farewell to their son, their wife, their mother, Guru Gobind Singh, Mata Gujari, they set off. From Anandpur Sahib, Guruji sets off travelling east. And at the time, there's no city called Patiala. This was established later by Raja Allah Singh. That's where you get the name Raja of the area. That was Patti, Raja, the Patiala, he's Patti. And so they travel through this area, and then Guru Sahib, after travelling through this area, they get to another area. And this is the area of a noble Muslim by the name of Saif Deen. He was an honest, God-loving, humble man. And he had established an area here, a town by the name of Sefa Bagh. And this is now known as Bahadur Bagh, Bahadurgarh. Saif Deen had heard about the praises of the Guru. He had heard the Bani of the Guru, and in his heart he had deep love and longing to be blessed with Guru Sahib's darshan. And he prayed daily for a glimpse of the Guru. He prayed daily that one day Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji would grace his village with their presence, and he constantly kept the Guru on his mind. He longed to serve the Guru, to hear the Guru's bachan, their sweet speech, and to be in the presence of the Guru. He was so thirsty for a glimpse of the Guru, he prayed daily that one day this happens. He often imagined sitting in their presence and listening to their Bani, listening to the words of Guru Sahib. But being the head of his town, he was always very busy and unable to travel to Anandpur Sahib to see Guruji. It was in his plans. But in his mind, he had a plan to go there, but this opportunity had not yet come about. Still in his heart, he yearned to see Guruji. His dream was, at least once before he died, to have Guruji's divine blessings and darshan. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib is the knower of all, and Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib knew about the pure love and devotion Saif Deen had towards the Guru. So Guruji, along with the Sikh, travelled to this area, and they camped up for the night near Saifabad, the town set up by Saif Deen. And a person came to Saif Deen and told him that someone's camped outside your city on your lands. It looks like a holy man, but I'm not sure who it is. Listening to this, Saif Deen sent one of his men to find out who was camped there. The servant went and asked and found out from the Gursikhs there who it was. And he came back to Saif Deen and he said, "The person you've been longing for, the one you pray to meet daily, he is here, he is camped in your lands." Saif Deen was overjoyed and ecstatic on hearing this news. He was just, what? And he immediately got up and ran towards Guruji in great excitement when he heard this. He came before Guruji, bearing many gifts, including gold coins, beautiful embroidered shawls, fruit and more. The shawls even had gold embroidered tagga in them. And placing them all before Guruji, he bowed and touched his forehead on the ground. Overcome with love and happiness, Saif Deen thanked Guru Sahib for blessing this land. And he folded his hands and he started to massage Guru Sahib's pavitra feet there, Charan. And Saif Deen, while doing this, spoke. He said, "Thank you for blessing me and giving me a glimpse of your vision. Guruji, it's now the monsoon season. It will be wet and rainy and hot, and no one travels during this time. Please, Guruji, please, I beg you, stay here till this season passes. Everything here belongs to you, Guruji. My home, the whole city, this land is all yours. Please bless us and pass the rainy monsoon months here." Massaging Guruji's Charan with great affection and love, he then placed his hands on his own face and his eyes, commenting how blessed he was to be in the presence of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib. Saif Deen was so happy, it was evident, for he was just radiating with love, saying to Guruji, "We are blessed on this day. We are blessed. I've finally met you, the true Guru, overcome with joy and delighted." Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib saw Saif Deen's love and his pure heart and said, "Saif Deen, if this will make you happy and satisfy your longing and the love in your heart, we shall stay here. After this, I need to travel to Delhi, as I have some important, unfinished business there with the Emperor. I shall stay here till the weather subsides, and after these months pass and the weather changes, I will go on towards Delhi." Saif Deen was excited and just super pleased with Guruji's reply. Immediately he requested Guruji and the sect to lodge in one of his large, beautiful houses that were set up in the beautiful gardens in Saifabad. Saif Deen himself carried Guru Sahib's belongings and luggage, and the sect accompanied them, and Saif Deen himself set up the accommodation, laying out fine fabric and cushions for Guruji to sit on. He arranged and had brought all the things that the sect and Guru Sahib needed for the stay. He brought many types of different fruit and other foods for Guruji and the sect. And Guruji and his sect stayed the night here, arising early in the morning before sunrise and bathing, and then Guruji sat in deep Bhakti meditation. After some time, Saif Deen came to see Guruji bowing to the lotus feet of the Guru, and discourse was done. And like this, each and every day, Saif Deen would sit with Guruji for many hours, listening to their divine words. And each and every day, Saif Deen would bring the finest of foods for the sect to cook in their langar to serve to Guruji. And in this way, slowly, Saif Deen's mind was becoming pure, and he was attaining peace. Time passed, and Saif Deen every day came to see Guruji, listening to their words, talking to Guruji, asking questions about God, faith and dharam, for many hours listening to Guruji's bachan about Sikhi, Vaheguru, Mahapurush, Jeevan, how to live and how to experience Allah. Saif Deen would spend much time doing Sangat of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, and every day his love and affection for the Guru grew. Every day he picked flowers and fruits and brought them, and every day he was becoming more and more spiritual and enlightened the more time he spent with the Guru. And sometimes he would bring Guruji to his own home, performing their seva constantly, and sometimes Saif Deen would play Chopar with Guruji for many hours and they would laugh. Now, Chopar is an ancient Indian board game, similar to Satranj or chess but played with dice. This was a game played by kings as well as military generals, tacticians, generals, warriors. It's referenced in Mahabharata when Yudhishthira and Duryodhan played each other and they gambled over this game. It's a game of Rajniti, tactics and strategy. Now, a Chopar board is traditionally an embroidered cloth in the shape of a cross, and each arm of the cross is divided into 3 sections, and each column is divided into 8 squares. And the dice are 7 cowrie shells, and all 7 shells are used in each throw. So they shake the dice and they throw them, and they are scored depending on the number of them facing up or down. The men or pieces are usually made of wood, and each player has 4 or more to start with. It's quite a complex strategy game, but put very simply like I'm doing, each player has to enter all their men or pieces into the game from the start. The men travel around the outer perimeter of columns in an anti-clockwise direction. Before a player can bring any of his men home, he has to knock out and kill at least one of the men of the other side, and that's called a tod, like a kick, like kicking them out the game. and only the player's own men can enter his home base of that player. So put very basically, you kill as many as you can of the opponent's men, and you come back with as many as you can of your own men. And this is a game which is played, and it's played in a very psychological manner, in which people talk and have much banter over the games, often played between kings. Like I said, it was played in Mahabharata. Guru Ji and Saif Deen would often play this game together and laugh. And also this game is mentioned in Suraj Prakash, that Guru HarGobind Sahib played Jodhpur against Khoji Anwar Khan, thrashing him many times before Anwar Khan gets battered and beaten by Guru Sahib's warriors. So it's mentioned multiple times in Suraj Prakash, now in the time of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji also. And so Saif Deen spent much time in the service of the Guru, and he would always seat Guru Ji in a higher elevated position, and himself he would sit on the floor before the Guru, and he would always lay Guru Ji's asana and seat out himself with much love. He would always do ardas that Guru Ji stay here. In his heart and his mind, all he wished for was to do Guru Ji's seva. And in his heart he had one worry, the worry that Guru Sahib was leaving. So in love with the Guru Sahib that he wanted Maharaj to stay here forever. He didn't want him to ever leave. He would never get tired of this seva. And they would go on walks together, and he would sometimes tell Guru Ji about this fear. He would have divans set up and laying down fine fabric for the Sangat to sit on. And Sangat from the whole area would come, and local areas would come during this time. Many Sikh would come also and have darshan of Guru Ji during this time. And during this time, a Pathan Sardar, a Pathan leader, also came to meet Guru Ji as well. He came to Saifabad to meet Guru Ji and stayed for a few days after serving and doing seva, serving Guru Ji and the Sangat. Throughout Guru Ji's stay here and with the Saif Deen, Saif Deen always went above and beyond to serve the Guru, bringing different types of food for langar, including different flowers, desi ke, like vadia dod, dahi, khand, sugar canes, many different vegetables, almonds, cashews, varieties of fruit. And Saif Deen would inspect every single one of the vegetables and fruit himself, ensuring that none of them were spoiled. Look at the pyar. Even off the langar, he'd look at every single vegetable, every single batao, to make sure none is spoiled, because this is going to go to the langar. That was his devotion. And he would ask the Langri Singhs daily. The Langri Singhs of Guru Ji, he would ask them daily, is there anything they wished for? And if there was, he would go out and get it. He used to feed Guru Ji's horses with the best food, the finest grass and grain available, and the horses now were growing big and healthy. And like this, the months of Sawan and Bhador passed, then the month of Asu finally arrived. In Delhi, there was a royal Mughal court in process when one of Aurangzeb's ministers brought up the topic of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji and them coming to Delhi, leading Aurangzeb to question, why isn't Guru Sahib in Delhi yet? They said they would come, they've not come. They said they would come to Delhi, for I want to talk to them and I want them to perform miracles. I want to force them to embrace Islam. Where is the Guru? Pondered Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb then immediately sent 2 of his high-ranking messengers and told them strictly to travel and to find Guru Ji and to bring them back. They were told not to listen to anything or anyone, but to come back with the Guru Ji. Do not return back here without them. And those messengers set off and travelled to Anandpur Sahib in chariots. On their way, stopping at various villages, taking from the poor whatever they wished, and often forcing them to give up livestock and other commodities. On reaching the holy city of Anandpur Sahib, they asked the people there about the whereabouts of Guru Ji, and nobody gave them an answer. Everyone refused to give any information or speak to them. The people of Anandpur Sahib were loyal to the Guru. The messengers stayed here for a few days investigating, trying to find out, but they couldn't find anything. And they realized the Guru was not in Anandpur Sahib, so they left in great stress. Then they decided to travel to the Majha area, and then they ended up travelling towards Amritsar, crossing Satluj River. They entered into Doaba. They travelled all around Punjab, visiting towns and villages, acquiring about the Guru as they did, checking just in case Guru Ji was any of these places. And when they reached Amritsar, they called all the Masands together, threatened them and questioned them, Tell us where the Guru is or face death. If you're hiding the Guru, the Emperor Aurangzeb will have you killed." The Masands got scared and told them that they don't really know and that they can raid their houses if they wanted to, search where you want. The Guru is not here, nor do we keep a connection with Guruji anymore. Listening to the answer of the Masands, the messengers confirmed that Guru Sahib was not in the area. Feeling nervous as they were unable now to fulfill the Emperor's commands, they wrote a letter back to Aurangzeb, stating they are failing every day to find Guruji. Guruji was not in Anandpur Sahib, they were not in Doaba, and they were not in the Majha areas of Punjab. Aurangzeb, on receiving their letter, sent many different messengers, horse troops, detectives out, armies out to find Guruji, and this was done in great haste. Meanwhile, the all-knowing Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, was sitting peacefully with Saif Deen. And then one day he called Saif Deen close and told him, "It's time for me to go now. I've listened to your love and spent the rainy monsoon season here. That time has passed. I will go. Continue to recite the true name. Satnam Simran Kar Sada. Forever remember and recite the true name. Serve the Sat Sangat. Do their seva. Serve them and serve the needy. Trouble will never touch you. Your birth and death are ended. Your soul is free." Listening to Guruji's words, Saif Deen's eyes filled with tears, and the tears rolled down his cheeks. He was in Bairag, suffering the pain of separation that Guruji is about to leave. And he said to Guruji, "My mind never wants to leave your company. I am no one to stop you from going, but my concentration will always be on you. My heart is yours. Guruji, you've stolen my heart. I am not even myself anymore. Everything I have is for you. I am your Sikh." Guruji listened to this and said to him, "Saif Deen, the whole world is in the hands of Akal Purkh, and where he places us we must go. I have to go now. I have some things to take care of, and thus I can't stay here any longer. Whenever you wish to have my company, just remember me and I will be there. Wake up early in the morning and after bathing, meditate on the divine name. Whenever you meditate, you will have my glimpse and I will protect you all the time." Then Guruji turned to his Sikh, all those who were gathered, who had come to the divans, and said, "Beloved ones, return to your homes. The path ahead is hard. Your faith will be tested beyond endurance. I do not wish for your spirits to be broken. Go on now, where your devotion is pure." The Sikh folded their hands and they obeyed Guruji's words. Most took leave, tears streaming down their faces, and only 5 remained. 5 souls destined to journey with Guruji to the end. Bhai Mati Das Ji, the divine Divan, whose words carried the power of truth itself. Bhai Gurditta, the descendant of Baba Buddha Ji, and his very presence a living miracle. And the others, Bhai Sati Das Ji, the brother of Bhai Mati Das, Bhai Dayala Ji, a beloved Gursikh, brother of Bhai Mani Singh, and Bhai Uday Ji of Ladla. Each radiant with devotion, each fearless in love. And these Sikh were loyal, haughty, tapi, battle-hardened, beloved of the Guru. They could take whatever for the Guru. They were there for Guru's love and nothing else, for the Guru and for the path of Sikhi. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji and the 5 Sikh gave their farewell to the Saif Deen, and the other Sikh got on their horses and left, continuing on their journey towards Delhi. Also at this time, there are horsemen and forces of Aurangzeb looking for Guruji in every single village and city. They are stopping everywhere and asking and threatening anyone they encounter about the whereabouts of the Guru and the Sikh. Although in large numbers covering much land, the horsemen and troops are unable to find Guruji. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji and the 5 Sikh now travel on to Samana, a town populated by many Pathans, and they camp just outside it. Here they are greeted by a Pathan leader who came often to see Guruji when he was in Saifabad. He comes with 10 of his men and bowed before Guruji, placing many gifts. He came many times to see Guruji, stayed for days and did Guruji's seva with love. And this Pathan Sardar leader had much love and respect for Guruji and even requested Guruji to stay in his own home. Guruji agreed to visit the Pathan's home. And here he served Guruji with great love and affection, and the Pathan leader himself even stood watch during the night in service of the Guru. Now notice something here. Notice that whenever Guruji is remembered by the Sikh and the beloved of the Guru, and when the beloved of the Guru come and do benti in nimrata to Guruji, Guruji always accepts their love and their bentiyan and visits their home. This is something Guruji does right until the very end. He did it on their journeys to the east, he did it before, and Guruji does that right until the very end. Even in Delhi, when they're locked in a cage and can't move, Guruji visits their Sikh. That is the love. And Guruji then travels on towards Delhi, passing through and visiting many villages on the way, including Chikka, Garara, Khark, Qatar, Jind, and then arriving near and around Agra. And at each village they pass through, they are greeted with love and affection. At one village where Guruji and the Sikh camped, the local villagers didn't come out to see Guruji, nor did they do any seva. It was a strange one. Instead, a group of the local landlords saw Guruji's horses and understood they were of great value, so they decided to steal them at night like little rats. Under the cover of darkness, 6 of them came to steal the horses. And as these thieves came to the place where the horses were tied and started untying the knots, they all became blind. They couldn't see where the horses were tied or how to release them or anything. In a state of panic and shock, they retreated, and as they stepped back, their vision returned. Astonished by this miracle, they then understood that Guruji is the all-powerful and is beyond this world and beyond their contemplation. And in realization, they in turn now bow their heads into the direction of where Guruji's tent is. And once they go back home, a discussion starts where they speak to each other. And amongst themselves they say the Guru is all-knowing and is capable of everything and anything. It's important that we go and apologize for our stupidity and our misdoings. And early in the morning they get together and they ride towards Guruji, bringing with them milk, dahi, yogurt, rice, flour and fresh ghee for Guruji. With folded hands they praise Guruji and they ask for forgiveness for the night before. They tell Guruji of their night before, their plan and how they were thinking of robbing and how they fell short and how they realized their mistake and who Guruji was. The most merciful and loving Guruji forgives them. And Guruji then even asks what they wish for. And the former would-be thieves respond, "Well, Guruji, the well water in our village boundaries is very muddy and we wish if you could please locate an area for us so we can dig a well and so we can have our faith. And we place our faith in you. And Guruji, please bless us and bless this land that it has water. Point out where we should dig." Listening to their request, Guruji holds their powerful bow in their strong hands and lets off a shot towards the sky, which travels quite far. And then Guruji tells them, "Till where my arrow has reached, until there the water will be sweet." They bowed and thanked Guruji and immediately started digging. Clear and sweet water was obtained, and till this day the water in this area has a natural sweet taste. Guruji then travelled on to the beautiful city of Agra, which was one of the main cities of the Mughal Empire at the time. Guruji stops just outside the city, setting up camp. And the fellow Sikh was setting up camp. Guruji walked into the Bagh, the parks and fields close by. And as they did, Guruji spotted a shepherd herding a flock of sheep and goat. His robe was torn, his eyes were weary from the sun and from the struggle. And Guruji smiled at him and called him close. And when they called the shepherd close, the shepherd, Hassan Ali, came close, bowing his head. And Guruji said to him, very softly, "Can you do me a favour?" We will watch over your sheep and your goats. You go to the city and bring back some sweets and matiai, 2 gold coins worth, and use this ring to pay." Guruji then took off their precious ring. Now this ring glittered, an 8-sided diamond, rare beyond price, octagonal in shape, and he gave it to the shepherd, telling him, "First mortgage this ring and immediately then go and buy the matiai." The shepherd agreed, but then he replied, "Sir, my shawl is filthy and torn and dirty. How will I carry the sweets in this rag?" Without hesitation, Guruji removed their own fine Kashmiri shawl, folded with fragrance and gold thread, and he handed it to the poor man, the shepherd. And he said, "Here, take this and be quick." And then the shepherd Hassan Ali pressed the shawl to his chest and hurried away, holding the ring tight. Bhai Mati Das Ji was standing at a distance, saw Guruji talking to the shepherd and giving the shepherd something, and then he went to Guruji and asked, "Guru Sahib, we had money. Why did you give him your diamond ring? He is a stranger. What if he never returns?" Guru Sahib replied, "Mati Das, we are hungry, and he knows this city. He will return faster than any of us." And Bhai Mati Das Ji went silent. And he thought to himself that Guruji, in all their time, have never spoken like this. They have never complained or spoke about hunger. They've never done anything like this of the sort before. Bhai Mati Das Ji went back and told the band of other Sikh and expressed his concerns, telling that Guruji felt hungry, which was so unlike them. Guruji is beyond all these things, and Guruji is never taken or eaten from shops. They usually only partake in the langar or the food prepared by us, their humble Gursikhs. And the Jathab 5 Sikh came together and they came to Guruji. But on seeing them, Guruji said straight away, "Keep an eye on these sheep and goats so that they don't go astray. The shepherd is poor, he needs them. Till he comes back, you guys take care of these." The Sikhs started to take care of the goats and the sheep, and Guruji walked and sat down and went into deep meditation. Hassan Ali reached the bazaar, the Guru's shawl hidden beneath his torn own clothes. He stopped at a halwai shop, with its shelves gleaming with laddus and jalebis, and he said to them, "Oh halwai, take this ring, pawn it, and give me 2 gold coins worth of sweets." The cook, the halwai, examined the ring and froze. The diamond was like the sun caught on fire. "Where did you get this?" he demanded. "This belongs to some royal officer, some king. You poor shepherd, you stole it, didn't you?" "Where did you steal it from?" Hassan Ali started to stammer. "No, Qasme, I swear to God, I swear to Allah, Qasme, a nobleman in the garden gave it to me. He was hungry and he sent me to get sweets. Qasme, this is the truth." The cook's suspicion deepened. "He then gave me this cloth to wrap it in." And the shepherd produced the Guru's shawl. The halwai's eyes widened. Greed and fear tangled in his mind. "This shawl is worth at least 1,000 rupees. Furthermore, what kind of idiot are you? Seriously? This idiot is definitely a thief. How can he not recognize the value of this shawl? And who in their sane mind would wrap up matiai in a shawl like this? Sugary, sweepy, sticky sweets. He will spoil this shawl. This fine Kashmiri silk with the gold threaded embroidery, it would not be usable again. He must have robbed it." The shopkeeper said to him, "You'll be hanged for your theft if you don't tell the truth. You are a thief or a thug, and you have killed someone and stolen this ring off them. Like, this ring is worth so much and you want to change it for matiai and a few gold coins? Are you crazy? Tell me the truth now. How did you get it? Tell me now or I'll get you arrested." And in fact, he seized the shepherd's arm and he dragged him to the local police post. The halwai then told the Mughal constable there, "This man came to my shop with this ring and shawl and he has to pawn it for a few rupees. He's a thief." The constable examined the ring and the jewels and his jaw tightened. "These are royal ornaments. Tell the truth. Who did you kill for them? One lie and you will hang. Hassan Ali trembled but spoke with steady honesty. I am not a thief, I swear. I swear to you, I was herding my sheep and goats near the garden when a rich saintly man called me, and he gave me this ring and shawl to fetch some sweets. 5 other people were with him. They had 6 horses tied nearby. Go to the fields and see for yourself. If I lie and I'm lying, hang me. But I did only as I was told, man. The constable studied his face, reading serenity in his words. The guards looked at each other, uncertain now and curious. Something in the shepherd's truth disturbed the air. They believed him. The Mughal policemen sent 2 guards with the shepherd and said, follow him to the garden and meet the people he is talking about. Ask them who they are, where they are from and where they are heading. Look at their dressing and inquire about their background. Do not let them out of your sight. Do not let them go anywhere. Don't let them go anywhere, and keep them there. And one of you come back here and report back to us. The other ones stay there. Do this politely with love. And when Bhai Mati Das saw them approaching, their spears glistening in the afternoon sun, he leaned towards Guruji and whispered, Guruji, the man you sent brings no sweets, only soldiers. And Guruji's eyes softened. Yes, Mati Das, it's him. He brings not sugar but truth. These messengers are those of Dharamraj, and they have come. And so is my time. The Sikh froze. In that moment they understood. This then was the reason Guruji had broken their own rule, sending a stranger for food. Guruji had in fact orchestrated this whole thing. This was all part of Guruji's plan. Guruji wanted this to take place. They understood. And as the constables entered the gardens, one of them called out, who are you, sir? Where do you come from? And where are you going? Guruji sat in divine peace, still as a mountain beneath the breeze, and replied, my name is Tegh Bahadur, blessed by Guru Nanak. I wander as the wind commands, and I stay where the eternal Akal Purkh wills. One constable, hearing the name, turned back to report. The other remained close near the Guru, uneasy but drawn to his divine peace. The Guru then turned to Hassan Ali, the trembling shepherd, and said, you took my shawl and my ring. Guruji's telling him gently, but you didn't return with the sweets. Where is the food? Hands folded, the shepherd confessed, sir, the halwai seized me. He took your ring and shawl and brought me to the station of the Mughal Makbars. They thought that I stole them. Now they have sent men to question you. I meant no harm, forgive me. I just wished to return to my sheep. I didn't know what I was doing. And Guru Sahib Ji nodded. Go, my son. Your part in this play is done. Be blessed. And with that blessing, the poor shepherd Hassan Ali walked away, a soul unknowingly written into the greatest Sakhi, the greatest Shaheedi Sakha of all time. And now back at the Mughal police post, the constable ran to his superior. The man in the garden is Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib of the Sodhi house, the very Guru the Hindus call their saint and saviour. The shawl and the ring are his. It makes all sense now. The head constable's eyes gleamed. Promotion, wealth, royal favour, all within reach now. The one the whole empire seeks has walked into our hands. He leapt to his horse and rode to the royal fort. And he shouted at the main gate, the Guru is in Agra. The emperor's orders are clear. Arrest him alive. The Guru's in Agra. He's in my lands. It's in my lands. It's in my gardens. Trumpets blared. Hooves thundered. 400 men mounted and galloped towards the garden where Guru Sahib was. They surrounded it from all sides, front, back, left, right, a living cage of steel. 15 soldiers, the constable and the head guard rode in. And there, beneath the shade of a royal tree, Guruji sat unmoved, serene as a saint carved in light. Are you Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib? The head guard demanded. Tell us your name, your home, your purpose. And the Guru's voice was calm and as deep as the ocean. The Jagat Guru, the Guru of all, is Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and I am their servant. My name is Tegh Bahadur, born into the house of Guru Ram Das Ji Sodhi. We know Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. We know Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji is the ninth light, the ninth jot of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And here they are showing their humility again, giving the praise to Guru Nanak Dev Ji as always, as every single Guru did. When the jot was passed, they always gave the love, they always gave the praise to Guru Nanak Dev Ji in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's name. And even in Gurbani, all of the Gurus signed the Shabads off with Nanak, showing they are one and showing their humility. That's crazy. But going forth, the soldiers now looked at one another they knew. The man before them was the one Aurangzeb feared, the one whose courage had become a whisper on every tongue. Guruji, they said carefully, we are under orders that we are to hold you, and you are to be held with respect in the royal fort until the emperor calls for your fate. Please come with us peacefully. The Guru smiled and he signalled to the Sikh, bring the horses, let's go. The 5 Sikh stood close by Matti Das Ji, by Sati Das Ji, by Dayala Ji, by Gurdwara Ji and by Uday Ji. They mounted besides their master, besides their Guru. 400 soldiers closed around them on every side, front, back, left and right, a square of iron escorting a diamond of light. And they rode through the streets of Agra, past gardens, fountains and watchtowers, to the gates of the royal fort. And there Guruji was shown to the guest chamber, a place of royal comfort, blankets of silk, and feed was given for the horses, and the guards bowed. Do you wish for any food, Guruji? And the Sikh replied, it was simple. We cook for ourselves, so we don't need anything from you. Bhai Mati Das and Bhai Dayala Ji had their own langar prepared with grains they already had. They ate, prayed and rested, and the night descended quietly. The calm before the storm, the world would never forget what was to happen next. The 9th Guru surrendered, not to kings, but to the will of the eternal Akal Purkh. His arrest was not defeat, it was the opening of a door through which the truth would walk, unafraid, unbound, into the heart of tyranny itself. And the Turk, the Mughal guards, rejoiced. They believed they captured Guruji, the saint of the Sikhs and the light of Guru Nanak, and they believed that they were the ones holding Guruji in that very fort of Agra. They thought it was their victory, but the fools did not know that they had only signed now the first line of the death warrant of tyranny itself, and Guruji themselves orchestrated this whole thing. The head constable and the fort commander sat and wrote a message to Delhi and sent it. And it read, Badshah Salamat Jahan Paya, Shahenshah Aurangzeb Alamgir, according to your command, the Guru, the last hope of the Hindus, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, has been taken into custody at Agra. He and his 5 Sikh are held with full respect in the royal fort, and we await your next orders. The messenger saddled his horse, fed it a handful of grain, and galloped into the dust. 2 days and nights without rest, carrying the news that would shake the empire. And when the messenger reached Delhi, the Navsin, the royal reader, enrolled the parchment and read it out loud in the court, and the hall glistened with arrogance. And upon his jewelled throne, Aurangzeb Alamgir smiled and laughed. The Guru has been caught, he said. Now my dream shall be complete. He turned to his generals. Send a force of 12,000. Bring the Guru to Delhi under heavy guard. Let no Rajput king, no Hindu Raja, no one dare to rise in his defence. He leaned forward, eyes burning with ambition. If Guru Tegh Bahadur converts, the whole of Hindustan will follow. And when Hindustan follows, the sun of Islam and my empire would never set. Aurangzeb remembered the story of Guru HarGobind Sahib Ji, and during his grandfather's time, Guru HarGobind Sahib Ji came out of prison with 52 Rajput kings, and they freed them all from the Gwalior fort, the Qila. And by Guruji's mercy, this happened. And thinking of this, Aurangzeb's voice grew sharp. Watch the Guru, guard him day and night, and bring him here straight away. Do not let him meet anybody else. The horizon near Agra darkened. Under a sea of 12,000 soldiers, swords, musket and cannons, all horse-mounted and ready. They got there, dismounted, bowed to the fort commander and shared a feast before approaching the Guru. Guru Tegh Bahadur, they said on approaching them, and they said would practice diplomacy. The emperor has longed to meet you. He is the ruler of the world, a man of immense power and wealth. If you stand and bow under his command, your life will be fulfilled and it will be full of peace and comfort. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji then simply and calmly replied, tell me, what have I done? Guruji reminded them, in fact, the whole world belongs to the one creator, Akal Purakh Vaheguru. He creates and sustains all. And a king's duty is to protect his people, to protect the helpless and to punish the guilty, to serve all souls with justice. What does your emperor have need of me? I have no throne, I hold no land, I live among saints and faqirs, I harm no one, nor do I fear anyone. Why should I bow before his pride? The officers looked at each other uneasily. Guruji, we don't know that we're unable to speak properly. We don't know what the emperor reasons, they replied. We are bound by orders, come peacefully and speak with them, and may all end well. And that night they rested, and as the moon rose over a fort in Agra, a pale witness to destiny, dawn came. Horses were prepared. Guru Sahib mounted calmly, and the 5 Sikh rode beside them, and around them a living wall of 12,000 soldiers, 3,000 armed soldiers on each side, every musket loaded, every sword drawn. On full attention, between the storm of men and weapons, sat the Guru, serene, radiant, fearless. The Guruji didn't fear anyone, nor did he put fear in anyone, and they rode without rest until the domes of Delhi rose before them and they could see them. They rode to Delhi. And a message reached the emperor. He smiled again and spoke to the Maulvis and the Ghazis. The Guru is near. How shall we test their powers on arrival? And one Maulvi stepped forward, eyes gleaming like Gollum. There is a Haveli in Delhi, grand and cursed. It was built with thousands of rupees, but it's haunted by an evil spirit. No man has ever survived a night inside. Ha 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 ha! He laughed. Let the Guru spend his first night there. If he truly has powers, he will survive the night. If not, fear will break him and we will hear his screams. And either he dies or he converts following this. Both serve us and serve Islam well. Aurangzeb also laughed. A cold, hollow laugh. Excellent. If he survives, we will see his power. If he breaks and cries out in fear, we claim victory. It's win-win for us. He sealed his order. The Guru was to be placed on arrival in Delhi at the haunted Haveli, the famous haunted Haveli alone, his sect to remain outside and guards to be guarded all around. A night had fallen over Delhi. The city slept beneath the iron will of Aurangzeb, but in one corner of its silence, a plan of arrogance was unfolding. The emperor's Maulvis, the Umravs smiled with cruel satisfaction, talking amongst themselves how we will lock the Guru in the haunted Haveli, and if he's truly divine, let him survive. If he dies, fear will convert the rest. They rejoiced, blind to what destiny had already written. They didn't know. The very chains they forged for the Guru were being wrapped around their own empire's neck. The haunted Haveli loomed in the dark, its windows hollow, its air heavy with centuries of sorrow. And once it had belonged to a man of great wealth, a man so attached to his house that even death could not separate him from it. He lingered there, a violent, nasty ghost, haunting every wall that once echoed with its pride. No one dared even walk on the road that it existed on, not even in daylight. And tonight, the Guru would sleep there, rest there, alone. The guards sealed the gates and the 5 sick were kept outside. They were not allowed inside the house sat outside, their hearts heavy but their faith unshaken. And inside the darkness, Guru Sahib entered and walked calmly, the light of the Akal Purakh radiating through him and through this house. And Guru Sahib sat down, he closed his eyes in Bhakti and waited. And then it came, the ghost. A terrifying figure emerged, eyes burning like coals, voice thundering with rage and fear. But when he looked upon Guruji, his terror melted into trembling reverence. He fell at Guruji's divine charan, folding his hands that had never known peace. "Oh Lord," he cried, "you have come to my home. I am a sinner trapped in this form. Please command me. How can I serve you? How can I do your seva? I have been blessed by your divine presence in my house. Please accept me as your servant and order me to do whatever you desire. If you like, I can kill your enemies and send them so far away that no one will ever be able to find them. I have the ability to destroy their whole lineage. But I will only do what you command me to do. Shall I destroy these soldiers who surround you? Shall I tear them apart? Shall I rip apart their homes? Say the word and I will do it." Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji replied, "No, my child. I have no enemies and no one is to blame. Each being acts through the will of Akal Purakh. The Creator writes joy and sorrow for some and all. Whatever happens, happens in Akal Purakh's will. Kings and beggars alike cannot touch this. The wise do not hate. They simply sit back and watch the play unfold and remain still." The ghost went on, his monstrous form trembling like a child's. The demon heard Guruji and thought to himself, "I'm lucky to have Guruji staying here with me. This is a great opportunity for me to serve him and obtain blessings and be liberated from this miserable life form, because this Guru, who is here now, he is the true liberator. He is the true Bandi Shor Data." And he bowed again and disappeared, vanishing into the night. The ghost flew to the city bazaar and he searched amongst the stores for something pure, something he could offer to the Lord, who had now entered his cursed mansion home. The ghost could not touch water or cook food, so he gathered fruits and dry nuts, apples red as blood, pomegranates, pistachios, mangoes and sugar cane stalks. He returned to the Haveli and placed all of these at Guru Sahib's feet. "Guru Sahib," he said humbly, "please accept this offering, this fruit. I am blessed beyond words that you were in my home." Guru Sahib smiled and accepted the offering. Guru Sahib ate a few of the fruits and chewed on the sugar cane. And when he finished, he tossed the peels of the sugar cane to the sides, some before him, some behind him, some to the sides, some through the window, landing outside. The ghost felt and watched, and as he did, tears shimmered down his spectacular eyes. "My sins are weltering away," he whispered. "You, by eating my blessings, are melting away my sins." And there was a pause. And Guru Sahib then asked him, "Tell me, my son, what deed changed you to this shadow life?" And the ghost folded his hands. "I sinned, O Lord. I fought with my kin. my family over this house, and in court I lied under oath. And though I won the case, I lost my soul. For that falsehood I was condemned to this form, to haunt this very house that I loved more than anything. Now I realise what it was. It was just nothing. Guru Sahib's eyes glowed with compassion. Then take this, he said. Eat the sugar cane that has touched my lips, and through this act of faith you shall be freed. The ghost obeyed. He picked up the sugar cane off the floor, and as soon as the peel touched his tongue and the sweetness filled his being, a taste not of this world, he fell to the floor trembling. As centuries of sin dissolved like smoke, his form began to glow, his face began to light, and then he was gone. Liberated, absorbed into Akal Purukh's infinite embrace. The guards outside waited, expecting screams, but none came. And inside the haunted Haveli itself, the ghost had been freed, and the Guru rested in peace. He had turned a cursed home into a temple, a ghost into a saint, and the empire's test into a trapped soul's liberation. And that night, Dilli learned that no darkness could stand before the light of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj, the divine king. And the night passed in silence. The haunted Haveli, once feared by all, was now still, sanctified by the presence of the divine Guru. And during the night outside, the Gursikhs sat awake all night, their eyes fixed on the dark windows, their lips whispering Vaheguru, the true name through the whole night, Satanam Vaheguru. And when the first light of morning touched the Haveli walls, they saw something glimmer on the ground. The chewed sugarcane peels that Guruji had cast aside, and some that had been thrown out the window. One Sikh, recognising them as Guruji's leftovers, filled with love and longing, picked up the piece and placed it in his mouth. The taste flooded his being, sweet beyond imagination, and in that instant, energy surged through every vein of his body. His breath was like it was burning. His limbs felt unbreakable. Visions of strength, of power, of conquest filled his mind. He was tired, but now that was all gone. Now he sat unable to sit, unable to sleep, unable to lie down, reciting Gurbani with trembling hands. And at sunrise the Emperor's soldiers arrived. Their boots struck the earth in rhythm, their voices sharp and commanding. Guru Tegh Bahadur, the Emperor summons you to his court. They spoke harshly, their tone laced with arrogance. And the Sikh who tasted sugarcane heard them, and his blood boiled. He clenched his fists. And when Guruji emerged, radiant and calm as ever, the Sikh bowed to him, but inside a storm was raging. He stepped forward, saying to Guruji, Maharaj, why should you bear this insult? Why should we suffer at the Mughals' hands? Give me the signal and I will end this mockery. I'll show them what I can do. I have the strength to destroy these Mughals, their emperor, their empire, their whole lineage in an instant. The power of me has surpassed all limits. Hundreds and thousands, even lakhs of these tyrants, and nothing before me. I could tear Dilli and Lahore apart from the earth. I will smash them together, and I will bury the Mughal name in that dust. One command from you, Guruji, and I will make them bow at your feet. There was a pause. Silence. Then the Guru's voice, calm as an ocean. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji smiled. He reached out and placed his hand upon the Sikh's arm. With a gentle squeeze, he drained the energy away. Vanishing like mist in the sun, the Sikh staggered. The fire inside him flickered out. He felt hollow, weightless, like a chewed stalk of sugarcane. All the sweetness had gone. Guru Sahib's eyes, their pavitra nain, their eyes glowed with compassion. Go on then, Guru Sahib said softly. If you can destroy them, destroy the two cities now. And the Sikh fell to his knees. and said, Satguruji, forgive me. I thought I had the power, but I see it now. All power flows only from you. A drop cannot challenge the ocean, and my ego blinded me when I had your power for a moment. When I had a drop of your power for a moment, my ego blinded me. But I realize now, you alone are the doer, the sustainer, the destroyer, and the Sikh bowed low, tears falling upon the dust. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji then spoke. Listen, my beloved. The power I threw towards you last night in the form of a chewed sugarcane was but a test. Just a minor power. You wanted to know if I could save myself, if you were trapped here. So I let you taste the glimpse of the infinite. You have eaten sugarcane before, but tell me, did it ever give you strength like that? Remember, the Sikh must never doubt the Guru. Whatever the Guru does, accept it with peace. When the drop forgets it's from the ocean, it dries and disappears. When it remembers, it merges back, becoming limitless. Remember this lesson. The Sikh's heart melted, so should ours on hearing this. He pressed his forehead to the Guru's feet. Guruji, forgive me. I was blinded by my pride. I could not bear to see them insult you. But now I understand. Your patience is the sword that cuts deeper than mine. All this that is happening is in your divine will. It happens because you wish it to happen. Guru Sahib smiled once more, a smile that carried the weight of centuries and universes. And a divine, timeless lesson was learned that day. One that we need to meditate upon and realize that all that took place in the Guruji was in Guruji's hukam and the divine play. Guruji had infinite power to do as they pleased. They could have destroyed the Mughal Empire in a blink of an eye, but they chose this fate. They chose to demonstrate the acceptance of God's will and God's hukam. They chose the path of sacrifice and Shaheedi. This was all of their doing. And with this, so the time had come for Guru Sahib to be taken before Aurangzeb. For Guru Sahib that allowed this all to happen. He allowed the guards now to surround him on all sides, guns drawn and swords drawn, eyes filled with fear more than fury. They knew they were escorting not a prisoner, but a presence that they could not comprehend. And the Guru walked slowly, his every step a shabad. The Sikh followed close behind, through the red fort gates. A fortress of red sandstone and pride, the doors towered above them, engraved with gold and gems, shining with worldly glory, and yet utterly dull beside the glow of Guru Sahib's radiant face. The royal court was filled, scholars, nobles, guards, merchants, eyes from every land fixed on the tall, radiant figure entering the hall. 6.5 foot tall, of quiet dignity, a saint's calm amidst an emperor's thunder. He sat upon the seat prepared for him, a simple bench covered in fine cloth, and as he sat, the whole court seemed to bend slightly, not in obedience to Aurangzeb, but towards the spiritual gravity of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. The court of the emperor trembled, as the court of truth had just arrived, and on the throne of ego sat Aurangzeb, wrapped in silks and delusions. His crown glimmered with jewels, but his heart was darker than the night around him. This was the emperor, the one who dreamed of one empire, one creed, one of forced obedience and forced conversion. He had filled the land with fear, and in his madness thought himself chosen to finish what the Creator had never even begun. And in the Mughal court, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji spoke first. Their voice, serene and still. O King of Delhi, why have you called me here? What task lies beyond your power that you need the help of a humble fakir? The emperor smirked. his words dripping with arrogance. I will tell you, Guru, I wish for the whole world to follow the deen of Islam. I wish to see one religion upon this earth, no others, just one way, one faith. I will not allow the Hindus and infidels to walk astray. I will bring them and convert them by force. I've made my mind that this is something that I will do. I will not allow even a single Hindu to live, man, woman or child. Whoever declares and reads the kalma, I will reward them with gold and land, wealth and women. Whatever is refused, or whoever refuses, I will break their pride and break and take their heads. When I die, I will tell Allah that I completed his tasks. Now, Tegh Bahadur, Guru, accept Islam, join me, and the whole of Hindustan will follow. You shall have peace, wealth, and even my daughter's hand in marriage if you wish. But just say yes, or suffer with anger and suffer my rage, he said. The court waited for an answer. Instead, Guruji smiled, a smile that carried the weight of centuries, and Guru Sahib responded, Badshah, the world belongs not to you, nor to me, but to Akal Purkh, the timeless one. And if Akal Purkh wished all souls would be of one faith, he could have made that to be true. Why do you not see? In Delhi itself, thousands of Muslims are born here, thousands of Hindus are born here. The will of the Creator is diversity, not domination. And Guru's tone became soft and commanding. But since you seek proof, since your mind does not bow before spectacle, since you don't understand, I'll spell it out for you easily. I will show you. Bring 5 mun of black pepper, which is about 185 kg of black pepper. Pile them up, surround them with wood, and burn them for 24 hours. Do this, and when the burning is done, I shall give you your answer. The court gasped. The emperor's curiosity, the restless ego, could not resist this chance for a challenge, and he nodded. Through the long night, through the long life, Wanjman, 185 kg of black pepper burned. Piles of spice turned to ash and smoke. Flames hissed and spat until dawn. And when this was all said and done, nothing but grey dust remained. Aurangzeb smiled, certain of victory. He summoned the Guru once more. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, he said proudly, I have done what you asked. Now answer me, will you accept the deen of Islam? Let there be one faith, one law, one ruler. And Guru Sahib sat beside him, utterly calm. Badshah, Guru Sahib said, grind the ashes and filter them, and whatever remains, that will be the answer. That will be your answer. The Mughal emperor ordered his Ghazis and Maulvis to obey. They crushed and sieved the ashes, and when the dust settles, the court gasped. Out of the Banjaman, the thousands and thousands and thousands of burnt black pepper, 3 single peppercorns remained whole, untouched by flame or stone, and Aurangzeb held them in his hand and frowned. What nonsense is this? 3 peppers out of thousands? Is this your miracle? Is this it? Explain yourself, O Guru. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji responded, Emperor, did you not understand the sign of your own God? You wish to make all into one. You burned, crushed and forced, yet still 3 peppercorns survived. So is it to be now in the world. 2 faiths stand today in this land, the Hindu faith and the Abrahamic faith, the Islamic faith. but now a third will rise. One that unites without destroying, one that lives in truth and freedom. This is the will of Akal Purkh, not your will. You can conquer lands, but you can't conquer the human soul. You can burn bodies, but you cannot burn faith. Remember, great rulers, greater rulers than you have fallen when they tried to play God. The hand that gives life is the hand that also protects it. The peppercorns have spoken. Your empire will be reduced and turned to ash. Truth will never burn. The court sat frozen. Even the air dared not move. Aurangzeb clenched the 3 peppers in his fist, but he could not crush them. He could not burn them. The saint from Punjab had shown him the will of God in the humblest seed of spice, in that black pepper. His answer stood. Now 3 dharms will remain. There were 2, and now there will be 3. The third is the dharm of Sikhi, the dharm of the Khalsa Panth. The emperor's pride had been wounded. The phenomenon of the 3 black peppers still burned in his mind as he held them in his hand. 3 tiny seeds survived the fire which burnt for over 24 hours. 3 survived of the thousands. A signal defying his dream of a single, united, conquered nation and faith. In utter anger and confusion, he sent Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib to the dark cells of Delhi's royal prisons. He blurted out in frustration. His voice echoed and harsh. If he will not bend, then let him break. Starve him, bind him, torture him. No one defies me, the Emperor of Hindustan. The Maulvis nodded, blind in their chain of dogma. The Ghazis agreed, thinking cruelty could crush light. But what they locked in iron was not just a man, but truth itself. Truth in the form of Paramatma. And inside that dark, damp, cold and tight cell, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji sat in perfect stillness. A lotus flower blooming in the swamp of darkness. The walls that caged others became Guru Sahib's meditation hall. And yet, beyond those prison gates, the love of the Sikh, of the Gursikh, burned bright. In the streets of Delhi, a humble Gharib Sikh prayed night after night, Guruji, please bless my home with your holy presence. Let me serve you just once. To wash your feet, to offer you food made with my own hands, to do your seva. And when this Sikh learnt that Guru Sahib was now imprisoned, his heart sank. But his faith did not, for faith does not sink. If my Guru is bound in chains, then let my love break them. He went to jail. He begged the guards. He wept and pleaded until mercy opened the door. In that cold, dim cell, he saw Guru Sahib, radiant, serene, glowing like a sun behind clouds. The Sikh fell to his knees. Blessed to be able to see Guruji, now his tears flowed freely. Guru Maharaj, he said as he bowed, voice trembling, I prayed for years for you to come to my home. I dreamt of serving you food, but now you are here in chains. Still, if you command, I will bring the food here to this cell myself. Hukam karo. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib looked at him with infinite love. Do not weep or cry, my Putt. Go home. Prepare your food as you wished. I shall come to your home in the morning, in the first watch of the day. At Amrit Vela I will be at your house. The Sikh's heart leapt. He bowed and ran home, tears of disbelief becoming tears of joy. All night he prepared and cooked while he japped the Naam. Kara prashad, kheer, dal, soft prashade, sweet sabjiyan, sour food, every dish prepared with trembling devotion. And when dawn painted the sky gold, a knock came at the door. And as he opened the door, there he stood, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, in the flesh, smiling gently. I am hungry, said the Guru. Bring the food you have prepared with such love." The Sikh fell to the floor in awe. "Satguruji, you came? From a locked cell to my home. Truly you came. You are truly bound only by love. You are only bound by love, nothing else." He placed a seat for Guruji, covered it with the finest sheets. He washed Guru Sahib's pavitra feet, their charan, and overwhelmed and in great bliss, tears fell from his face. He touched the sacred dust of Guru Sahib's feet to his forehead. Guru Sahib sat, the food was served, and Maharaj ate slowly. Every morsel offered with devotion so pure that even heaven stood still to watch. Neighbours gathered, men, women and children, their eyes wide with wonder. They bowed, whispering, "The Guru has come from the Emperor's jail to this Sikh's home. He walks where he wills, beyond the chains." When the meal was finished, a neighbour approached a Sikh neighbour, overcome with love. Putting his hands together, he bowed and said, "Guruji, please come to my home tomorrow. I too wish to serve you." Guru Sahib smiled gently. "If love and faith call me, then Guru Nanak's grace will fulfill your wish." The man bowed, tears in his eyes. And we hear and we see this now. That which we have always seen. Whenever those who loved Guru Sahib called them, and this had always been the case, whenever those who loved Guru Sahib called them, Guru Sahib was always there. Guru Sahib always attended. He always went wherever they remembered him. This is worth noting. And then just as quietly as Guru Sahib came, they rose and they walked away. Those who saw him, they felt their sins dissolve. Back in jail, the guards saw Guru Sahib sitting exactly as before, eyes closed, serene and touched by time. They looked at one another in disbelief. Has he even ever moved all night? Has he left even? They didn't know. The locks of kings cannot bind the one who lives beyond the body. The emperor has his prisoner, but the Guru has the whole universe and creation, and no wall, no iron, no empire can contain that light. And the morning after the Guru's visit to the Sikh, Delhi was buzzing with whispers. In the narrow streets and alleys, people spoke in awe. He walks through prison walls, the emperor's chains cannot hold him. But in the heart of the Mughal court, one man burned with envy, the Maulana, a priest of pride, whose eyes saw only threat, not truth. He heard of the Guru's visit, and his heart turned to fire as he shouted, "How dare he! The Guru eats in his followers' homes while our emperor thinks he's imprisoned. He must be stopped, or no Hindu will ever bow to Islam." He burst into Aurangzeb's court, his voice trembling with anger and cunning. "Badshah, you have arrested Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, but what good is that if his spirit still walks free? He leaves the jail every day. His Sikh feed him great royal foods. They sit with him and sing his praises. As long as he breathes, the Hindus will not convert. You must cage him fully, not allow him to leave, break his body, starve his spirit, let nobody see him. Only then will people listen." Aurangzeb, hearing this, then roared, "Who dares disobey my command? Who let this man walk free? Bring me the jailer now." The jailer was grabbed and dragged to the royal court. "Why have you let the Guru leave the jail? He was to be locked in darkness. Speak now, or you will hang this very morning." The jailer, trembling, folded his hands and he said, "My king, I swear by Allah Qasme, the Guru has not left his cell. He sits cross-legged day and night, eyes closed in meditation. He doesn't move. He doesn't even eat. He speaks little. He harms no one, and I've kept armed guards around him all the time. No one can see him come or go. No one's seen that." The Maulana interrupts, sneering, "Lies! I saw him myself with my own eyes at the Sikh's home, eating sweet food and rice and different things, blessing his people. This jailer is bribed. Punish him, or I will catch the Guru myself." Emperor Aurangzeb's rage deepened. He ordered a full investigation. He told the jailer, "If I find you lying, your head will roll." Once dismissed, the jailer ran back to the prison, his heart racing. He barked at his men, "Nobody meets the Guru. No food, no messages, nothing. Keep your swords unsheathed and ready. My life and your lives depend on this watch." And that very day, the second Sikh, the neighbour, started preparing his meal. Steam rose from the golden kheer and the soft prashada, roti and dal, every dish offered with trembling devotion. He folded his hands and whispered with his eyes closed, "Guruji, the langar is ready. Please come." And like the dawn itself, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji appeared at the door, knocking, smiling, radiant. And nearby outside, the Malana spies hidden nearby saw the impossible. They ran breathless back to the palace. He's here, he's outside. He's at another Sikh's home, eating, smiling, laughing, alive. Aurangzeb sent riders at once. The emperor's men galloped through the city to the Sikh's home, and there, through the window, they saw it too. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji sitting peacefully, eating the food the langar prepared in love, and they ran back in disbelief. It's true, the Guru is there. The emperor summoned the jailer again, his face red with rage. "You traitor! My spies saw the Guru outside in the city. You will be punished for treason. You will die today." And the jailer fell to his knees, voice shaking. "My emperor, I swear on my life. I just left the Guru this very moment in the cell. He sits there still, locked and guarded. If you wish, send your own men right there now and they will see it too." Hearing this, the emperor sent 2 teams, one to the jail and another to the Sikh's house. The first guard entered the cell and froze. There sat Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, cross-legged, eyes closed in meditation. At the same time, the second guard started to reach the Sikh's home, and there he was again, the same form, the same face, the same peace. They came back and they reported it, and the court shook with disbelief. 1 soul, 2 places at once, the body in chains. They didn't know the spirit was free as the wind. Some of them called it magic, others whispered, "He is the truth of God walking amongst us. It's him." But Aurangzeb's pride grew darker still. "So be it," Aurangzeb announced. "Lock him tighter. No food, no visitors. As I said before, if he will not bend, then we will break him." But in the silent darkness of the prison cell, Guru Sahib smiles. For how can you imprison the one who lives in the infinite, the one who is the infinite? The body may sit in the dungeon, but the light of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji shines around the world, in every heart that dares to love, and it goes beyond time even now. And days passed, and the light of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji burned bright in the darkness of Delhi's dark jail cells. His body might have been bound, but his spirit unshaken, his silence unbreakable. And outside the cell, the fools conspired, the Maulvis, the Maulane, the Ghazis, the scholars of the Sharia, men of stone hearts and shallow souls, gathered once again. "We have captured him, we have starved him, we have offered gold, we have threatened death, yet the Guru does not move, he does not plea, he does not fear. Let us strike at his faith. Let us force feed him and trick him to eat halal meat. The meat that is banned in the Sikh Dharam. If they eat this very act will mark his conversion." The emperor, arrogant and weary of patience, listened with eager pride. He even spoke out, cold and calculating. "Prepare the food from my own royal kitchen. Beef, spiced with masale, soft rotiyan, sweet dishes as beside it. Take it to the Guru and tell him, 1 bite, just 1 bite, just 1 word of the kalma, and the whole empire shall bow to him." And like that, the food was prepared. Fragrant steam rose from the pot. A dozen officers, servants and guards marched into the dungeon. And there sat the true king, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, cross-legged, radiant in the gloom, a saint surrounded by swords. The officers bowed slightly and began their speech. "Guruji, you suffer for no reason. The emperor wishes to honour you. Accept Islam, and you shall be made the Peer amongst all Peers. The Hindus will follow you, the Musalmaan will honour you. Diamonds, pearls, gold, whatever you ask for, even the hand of the Emperor's own daughter, all this awaits. If you only eat one bite of this food, speak one word of the kalma. And there Guru Sahib sat, still and unmoved, the ocean that cannot be stirred by a pebble. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji lifted his eyes. He looked towards the steaming pot and said softly, "What have you brought me? What will eating this mean? You think that faith can be swallowed? Or truth can be cooked? Your stubbornness will destroy you. You forget the one, Parvardigar Parmeshwar, the one who watches all. Remove the lid now, and you will see the fruit of your deeds and your actions," Guruji said. The cook leaned forward and froze. From inside the pot something moved. A squeal, high and sharp, then another, then another. They opened the lid. Piglets. Small, pink, wriggling piglets, alive, oinking and squealing. The officer stumbled back in horror. What the heck is this? As they did, the large pot was knocked over and pigs started jumping out of the pot. The Maulvis screamed, "Toba, Toba, what is this sorcery?" But it did not stop there. First came out tiny ones, then bigger ones, then even bigger ones, spilling from the pot as if an endless sea. They leapt across the floor, rushed through the prison gates, through the cells, through the bars and the cells, out into the alleys, through the different passageways, and they flooded out into Delhi. In the alleyways, in the markets, pigs in the royal kitchens, in the mosques, in the wells, in the fountains. They were everywhere. White pigs, black pigs, spotted pigs, hundreds of them, snorting, squealing, trampling through the city. The soldiers dropped their spears. The cooks screamed. Shopkeepers cried out, "Toba, Toba, we are defiled. Our food, our water, unclean." Pigs overturned pots, gnawed at loaves of bread, splashed in ritual wells, drank from the sacred water used for cleansing. They made everything jutta. The emperor's capital city, the proud seat of Islam, self-proclaimed champion Alamgir, was now overrun by the very creature he called unholy and disgusting. Even the palace guards ran in terror, leaving their positions. Jailers stripped off their clothes, trying to cleanse themselves in panic. But more pigs came out, touching, oinking, defiling everything. The Maulvis fell silent, Ghazis trembled, and the Hindus laughed. Seeing the hand of the divine teaching the arrogant a lesson no sword could ever teach them. And inside, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji sat, serene, eyes closed in the cell, untouched and unmoved by any chaos. Outside, an empire screamed. For those who try to pollute purity only end up drowning in their own filth, and those who live in the light of Akal Purkh cannot be tainted by the darkness of kings. The Mughals tried to feed the Guru sin, and now they swallowed their own shame. From doorway to bazaar, from whispering alley to golden courtyard, the same story spread through Delhi. The emperor arrested the Guru, but the heavens themselves defend him. People spoke now of this miracle, of how from a pot of fire pigs poured out like a storm, insulting the kings, filing in the streets, defiling the pride of these Turk Mughal invaders. Even the markets of Chandni Chowk stank of panic and disbelief. And people murmured behind closed doors, "Aurangzeb is a fool. He fights not with a man, but with the hand of God." And inside the palace, the Umravs, still shaken, entered the court, their robes newly washed, their eyes full of fear, and they bowed before Aurangzeb. "Badshah Salamat. We did as we commanded. We took the food. We praised your glory. We begged him to accept Islam. He refused. He warned us that forcing another's faith brings only ruin eventually. Then, O king, pigs, Sur, living, breathing, leapt from that pot of our food. We cooked halal meat, and out of it came pigs. Small ones first, and great big ones that stank. They ran across the markets, the streets, the city, as you've heard. They touched our clothes, our food, our homes. They bathed and we changed, but our hearts are still stained with fear and embarrassment. The Guru, through his trickery, has made us impure. Aurangzeb's jaw tightened. His eyes blazed crimson. And through gritted teeth he spoke. So he has powers after all? He told me he had none. I said to him, show me a miracle and I'll let you free. Yet he mocked me, turning my command into shame. Go back and ask him why he lied. Ask him why he insults our faith with filth. Tell him the Emperor's patience is ending. The Umras and Maulvis made their way to the prison cells. They stood once before the Guru again. Guruji, they said, the Emperor demands to know. You claimed no power, yet you turned our meal into pigs. Why show these miracles now only to anger him? And Guru Sahib looked at them and responded sternly. And Guru Sahib said to them, do not call this a miracle. This is a reflection of your own intent. You wish to pollute purity, you will be drowned by your own impurity. Every soul reaps what it sows. You came with your halal meat to break another's faith. The Lord returned to you what your hearts contained. I did nothing. The same Creator you claim to serve has shown you his justice. Tell the Emperor, I have no powers, only truth, only faith, and truth does not perform tricks to please kings. Back in the royal palace, the Umravs repeated every syllable back to Aurangzeb, and Aurangzeb's fury shook the marble floors. I swear by Allah, I will break this man. He will bow to the Sharia, or he will show me the powers once again. Once again, once more, even at the edge of death. And if he refuses both, his head will fall for everybody to see, in public view. The world shall learn what happens when you defy the throne of Delhi. Thus, the vow was sealed, a tyrant's oath born of pride. But in the silence of the cell, Guru Sahib meditated. He smiled, because he knew no blade can cut the truth, no prison can cage light. And at night the empire slept, but in the darkness the light of the Guru moved unseen. The proud emperor of Delhi, for his chains could hold the infinite, but he did not know that the more he tried to bind the light, the brighter the light began to shine. Each night in the final watch before dawn, the locks of Guru Sahib's cell would open by no human hand. The heavy chains slipped off his wrists and ankles like leaves from a tree in autumn. And Guru Sahib would rise, still, serene, and leave the prison, unseen by guards, whose eyes were blinded by sleep and by destiny. Guru Sahib would stroll through the silent streets of Delhi in the early hours towards the flowing Jamuna river. There at the banks of the sacred river he would bathe in stillness and recite Gurbani. Recite Japji Sahib, his voice weaving through the wind. And beside the water, Bhai Mati Das Ji would stand, holding the Guru's clothing in reverence, guarding every night. For nights uncounted, this miracle unfolded. The Eternal walked free, while the Emperor slept. And one night, a Mulana from Jama Masjid was walking towards the same river at dawn. In the first light, he heard a divine voice reciting Gurbani. Such beauty followed the voice, and there, in the silver ripples of the Jamuna river, stood Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. The Mulana froze. He caught breath. The Guru? He's escaped? Fear gripped his heart, but curiosity chained his tongue. He hid behind a tree, watching and trembling. When Guru Sahib finished their meditation and their Nitnem, and stepped out of the water, with each step the river seemed to bow. He walked calmly back through the city, the Mulana trailing him from a distance in secret. And then, to the Mulana's horror, the Guru walked straight back into the royal jail. The heavy doors opened on their own. The locks clicked shut and silence returned. The Maulana stood in shock. This can't be. This can't be. He must be bribing the guards. The Emperor's men have betrayed him. The Guru wanders freely. Are we being made into fools? The Maulana waited for sunrise and for some hours to pass, and then he rushed to the Red Fort to deliver his discovery. Breathless, he spoke before the Emperor Aurangzeb. Badshah, seen it with my own eyes. Gusme, the Guru, was at Jamuna before dawn, bathing and reciting his Sikh prayers. He had no chains, no guards. I followed him. He walked back to the cell and hindered. Your men are taking bribes, any? They live and they let him wander every night. And if this continues, he will vanish from your grasp forever. You must act, torture him harder, break his resolve. Only then will he bow to Islam. Aurangzeb, on hearing this, was absolutely furious. Again, he summoned the guards. Every man who watches that cell, bring him here. The guards were marched in. Nervous murmurs filled the court. Aurangzeb barked like the rabid kutta dog he is. Tell me, why did you, what is going on? How did you let him leave? How does he reach the Jamuna while you stand watch? You think I'm a fool, an idiot? You take his gold? You take his bribes? The trembling guards folded their hands. My king, the locks stay shut. The guards do not sleep. We do not see him move. Even when morning comes, we smell the fragrance of the river upon him. But this is not our doing. He doesn't move. He stays there. This is just the power of the Guru. He is beyond the reach of kings. The Maulana scoffed. Power? Deception? He fools you with illusions and collects gold. Break him and his magic will fade. Starve him, beat him, deny him rest. Don't let him sit or lie down or stand. Only then he will speak the kalma. Then Aurangzeb's voice, low and cold, spat out these orders. So be it. From this day, no food, no water, no visitors. If he tries to leave, cut him and kill him. The guards returned to the dungeon, their hearts heavy. And again, they found Guru Sahib sitting in perfect stillness, the same radiance upon his face. One guard, tears in his eyes, fell to the Guru's feet. Maharaj, the Emperor is furious. He says we are traitors, that we take bribes to let you go, that we are poor men. But your presence has changed us. Please bless us, protect us from his wrath. And Guru Sahib opened their eyes, a calm ocean in human form. And Guru Sahib Ji told the jailer, do not fear. Let not even a mustard seed of fear enter your heart. I have come here by my own will. If I wished to escape, no one in this land could find me. But I am here for a purpose greater than this cell. Do your duty, stand guard. I will not let you lose your posts. Keep this secret and hold faith. The guards returned to their posts, their hearts now fearless. The doors locked once again, and the night fell silent. But the river knew. The river knew, and the stars above knew, that the saint who sat within those walls was freer than all the kings of the world. The Guru, who could free millions from bondage of sin and sorrow, sat quietly on their own accord in the prison of the Mughal king. He had come willingly. The infinite wrapped in human form chose the dungeon to save the world. The emperor couldn't see it, but the end of his empire had already begun. Aurangzeb called for his Maulana. He told him, go and convince the Guru either to accept Islam or show me his powers. For some reason, these guys sometimes they're just obsessed with miracles and stuff like that and ridiculous things. And he just wanted to see some trickery. So he ordered the Maulana, and the Maulana entered the prison. Full of arrogance and curiosity, he saw the Guru sitting cross-legged, radiant even in the shadows. Guruji, he said, The emperor calls you the Peer of the Hindus. You have followers by the millions, you are worshipped, honoured and gifted. And if you are a true Guru, then show us your power. Show us what makes the Hindus bow to you and entrust the fate of their dharam in you. Even your own kin, Baba Atal Rai, showed miracles and gained the emperor's favour. Why don't you do the same? And the emperor will call you Vali Peer, great Peer. He will shower you with gold, land and glory. But if you cannot show any powers, then accept Islam and live free. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji listened to these words and replied, You go and tell the emperor this. The throne he sits upon was given by Khuda. The kingdom belongs not to him but to the Creator who made all hearts. His duty is justice, not pride. And let me tell you this, miracles are the root of ego. Saints do not perform miracles to impress kings. Every soul that walks this earth walks their own path to God. I am not here to trade faith for comfort. I am here to uphold truth, even if it costs me my head. In that silent cell, another heart caught fire. Bhai Mati Das Ji, the one who was locked up close, who had served the Guru his whole life and lifetimes before even this one. But now his heart blazed with rage. Being locked up and seeing the Guru locked up in these conditions, seeing the way they were constantly trying to disrespect his Guru, he felt anger. Mati Das Ji cried, and in pain and love. Why do you speak so humbly to these tyrants? You hold the light of Guru Nanak and all the Gurus, and these sinners mock you. Why not just destroy them? Or give me the permission to do the same. Give me the permission to do the same. Give me the permission to destroy them. One word, one hukam, and I will turn their entire empire to ash. If not all the Mughals, then let me strike down this wicked king. The heavens cry for justice. Let me be your sword. I will I will smash them apart. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji looked at the beloved Sikh and smiled. He saw the devotion, the love, but he also saw a slight hint of ego beneath it. He has gained power through tapasya and seva and simran and Pangti, Guru Sahib thought. But he has not tasted the stillness of the One yet. His heart still divides light and darkness and shadows. His heart divides life and death, sinner and saint. I must save him from himself. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib then explained to Bhai Mati Das Ji, Mati Das, you are my beloved. You are me, you are with me. You have power beyond measure. But now, bow your head to Kartar. Fold your hands and surrender your anger. Hearing this, Bhai Mati Das Ji bowed his forehead to the Guru's charan. And the moment the forehead touched the sacred feet, the Guru withdrew his power, like a river reclaiming its flow. Bhai Mati Das Ji rose, feeling the emptiness where thunder once roared. Guruji, he whispered, my strength is gone, but my faith remains. I spoke without your command, without your hukam, so I beg forgiveness, maaf karna. But I could not bear to see them insult you. My love blinded me. And Guru Sahib smiled gently. Mati Das, listen. Long ago Guru Nanak blessed the Mughals with their Raj, and now that time for it to end is drawing near. My head will reclaim what my master once gave, and only through this sacrifice will tyranny fall. Your anger cannot end their rule, but my sacrifice will. Bhai Mati Das Ji bowed again. All his fury had turned to peace. The jealous Maulana had watched this whole conversation unfold, and he went back crying to his Papa Aurangzeb and told him. Twisting this truth into a fuel for hatred, the emperor's rage burned. As he told the emperor this, Mati Das said he'll destroy you. He would destroy these cities and everything in the blink of an eye. Aurangzeb's anger grew more and more, and he cried out, "Bring me this Mati Das. He will destroy us in this empire. Let him feel the wrath of this empire. Let us torture and kill him, break his faith and spirit." But little did he know what Gursikhs were made of. Bhai Mati Das was brought forth. Aurangzeb ordered him to give up his faith or be killed right now on this day. And Bhai Mati Das' response told them everything. All he said was, "If it's to be, let me sacrifice and die facing my Guru." And hearing this, everybody gasped. Such courage, such bravery, such resolve. What? Death was acceptable. To turn away from the Guru was not. Aurangzeb was boiling in anger. He ordered Bhai Mati Das Ji to be placed between two planks of wood and sawn in half, tortured and killed. Two wooden posts were raised, ropes tightened around the body of the warrior. A great heavy saw was brought forth, its blade glinting in the cold sunlight. And then the executioners began their work. They saw through flesh and bone, starting at the head. But Bhai Mati Das Ji's lips came not a single cry, only the shabads of Gurbani. Ek oankar satnam karta purkh nirbhau nirvair Japji Sahib came out from his tongue. And as the saw cut deeper, the part got louder. When his body was split in two, the recitation of the Gurbani continued, the holy words rising from both halves of the body. Blood and guts poured out, but the prayer remained. The crowd watching trembled and whispered and awed. The executioners froze mid-strike. Shocked by what they were witnessing, even Aurangzeb's closest soldiers whispered, "He's still alive, he's still reciting the prayers." And when his body fell, the final words of Japji Sahib still continued. And to the part that Bhog Bear, when he finished the Salok, Bhai Mati Das Ji's soul soared, merging into the eternal feet of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. He became one with the light. He gave his life facing the Guru. And that was everything for him. Everything. To die facing the Guru for a Sikh is everything. If we go back to episode 1 and remember the battle by Mohan and Kabbalah, they wanted to die in front of the Guru, and these Sikh wanted the same. It's all the same in the path and the road of Sikhi. And then came Bhai Sati Das Ji, the brother of Bhai Mati Das Ji. It was now his turn for divine honour, sacrificing before the beloved. That time was now upon him. And they wrapped him in cotton wool. And as they did, he smiled at Guruji. And then they turned and they set him alight, burning him alive. A great fire burned and crackled and roared. But the cooling sound of Gurbani was the only thing that mattered. As the cotton wool burnt and his flesh and skin burnt, he continued to recite Gurbani, unshakable in faith, and blessed to be facing the divine Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib in his sacrifice. Not happy with killing two Sikh, they next brought forward Bhai Jaita Ji. Again he was given the question, accept the deen or die. And this was not even a question, because the answer was already known. That these guys are worth their mettle, they will not give up their faith. He was thrown into a huge cauldron and boiled alive. And again, not a scream, only the word Shabad, and only Pyar. Each sacrifice was accepted with divine serenity. Each one chose this over giving up their Sikhi, their faith, and each one of them died before their Guru. each one smiling through the flames, each one a star lighting Guru Sahib's path towards the supreme sacrifice. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, the ocean of mercy, watched all this with calm resolve beyond human reach. Because Guru Sahib knew truth would triumph, the sword of tyranny would rust, and from this blood that was spilt, the Khalsa would rise. And that night in Delhi, it was silent. Such Qurbani of these free, brave Gursikhs. They didn't fold, they didn't cry out. They had that faith in the Shabad. And death to them was nothing. Why? And that night in Delhi, the remaining Sikhs spoke to Guruji deeply. And a decision was made for them to leave at this point. Guru Sahib would arrange for them to leave the cell. Their only job was to carry a message home to the Guru's family. Tell them, Guru Sahib said, to hold their faith steady, to not fear and do not frighten. I came to this earth for this very deed, to strike my body against the pride of the Mughal Empire and loosen the roots of tyranny. No one lives forever. My time is coming, and do not mourn me. This is my play. Tell the Sahibzada in Lucknow, Gobind Rai, who's about 9 now, tell him to go back to Anandpur Sahib and keep it well, fearless and worry-free. Build force, raise an army, and make it more beautiful. My end is coming, and I shall return to Sachkhand soon. Tell them to all remain in Chardikala. The following Sikh touched Guru Sahib's feet and left. Guru Sahib released them from the chains and let them go undetected and vanish into the night, travelling to the Guru's family. They travelled non-stop and eventually reached Lucknow. They bowed to the young Guru Gobind Rai, to Mata Gujri and to Mata Nanaki Ji, and they passed on the divine message from Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib. And back in Delhi, the guards stare at the iron chains on the ground, mouths wide open, doors still locked from the outside. How? Oh, Khuda, what have you done? The jailers run to Guruji. Where are your men? Speak, or the Emperor will destroy us. And Guru Sahib with a smile laughed and he told the jailer, Khuda took them. The Emperor wants me and I am here. Do as you will with me. I will not leave. And news reached Aurangzeb, and rage reddened his eyes. Bribes, treachery. Lock the Guru in a smaller cage. Hands and feet must be chained all the time now. Torture him if you must, but let him not escape. If the Guru leaves, our dreams shatter. They put Guruji in a cage, iron biting tight against their wrists and ankles, doors slammed shut. Yet the Guru's face is still and radiant and calm as ever. They thought iron could hold light. They brought an iron cage. They thought it could lock up the divine light of truth. But inside, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji sat like the dawn before the horizon. Close to him, Baba Guru Datta Ji, wrists shackled, still serving. He did not leave, he stayed. And the jailers stopped going home now. The guards with swords stood like fawns around a rose. They wouldn't leave, they would keep watch all the time. And that night, the impossible happened again. The guards couldn't believe what happened. The cage stayed locked. But this time, the Guru was no longer inside when they looked. In the blink of an eye, everything changed. And the guard's mouth snapped open, hissing to others, "He's gone!" They sprinted around, lanterns shaking across the bars. And one of the jailers came hoarse, saying, "Do not shout! Shh! Shh! Do not shout! Do not shout! Don't make noise! Go search the alleys, the balconies, move!" And steel poured into the streets as they stretched and searched. And then they cornered Baba Guru Datta Ji. "Where is the Guru?" "Speak or..." Baba Guru Datta Ji interrupted their questioning. "You keep me away from them at night, so how would I know?" The guard, shaken, asked the head jailer. He's done this before, hasn't he? Leaving the cell, visiting his sick. But this cage, this one was tighter than bone. How is this so? The jailer, whispering truth that can't be denied, spoke. He said, the Guru's beyond tightness. He's above pain. He sits and speaks like a king with his sword sheathed. If he does not return, the emperor will hang us, or worse, kill us and our families. Either we run from Delhi tonight, or we stand here and we put our faith in the Guru. Meditate on his name till the sun answers. Their swords lowered, and the guards sat down and began to japnam. And at 5 a.m. in the morning, as if the sun carried him back, when they looked up, Guruji was there, inside the locked cage, face like a serene lake with no wind, still. Relief erupts into reverence. Guards under their breath said the words, Dhan Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, Dhan Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, Dhan Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. They bow. Through spending time in Guru Sahib's presence, they have all been blessed and are becoming Sikh. The jailer, now relieved and even more full of love and faith, came forward and spoke to Guruji, saying, your radiance is real and true. You watch over your servants in this world and the next. Please, Guruji, take me as yours. I'll open the cage. We'll all flee together. My men will come too. We are all your Sikh. There is nothing else for us. You're everything. Why carry this pain on now for a tyrant? Let us go, please. Guruji, smiling, replied, you have instilled devotion in your hearts and minds. Your wage from Aurangzeb fogged your minds before, but Sangat and Simran have now cleared it. Your family lines will grow, your houses will be blessed. But hear the play I wrote. I am here by choice. I will save the Hindu Sanatan Dharam. I will break my body upon Aurangzeb's bribe and his pride to place guilt upon the crown. The Mughals will lose their shine and their hold, their kingdom will fall. I am here by my own will to start this off. Do not get that confused. If I wish to leave, then tell me, who could hold me? And it's true. Who could lock the Guru up? The Guru allowed this to happen. Guruji then tells the jailer, for you do this task now. A Sikh is on his way and he has come from far, sent by my son. Bring him here. He has seva to do, messages to relay. And do not fear, I will not go anywhere today. And the jailer nodded like a student, eager. He went out. He walks past the very men he taught to snarl, finds the messenger out in Delhi and leads him in. The Guru of the world sat bound in an iron cage, but the light uncontainable. The Sikh from Lucknow entered trembling. He'd walked for days, dust clinging to his feet, his heart heavy with the cries of Mata Nanak Ji and Mata Gujari Ji, and with his voice breaking he spoke, Guruji, your family has left Lucknow, heading to Anandpur Sahib as you commanded. But Mata Nanaki cannot rest, her breaths are heavy with your name. Mata Gujari weeps silently. The Sangat refused to eat. The air itself feels hollow without you. Yet, your Sahibzada, the 9-year-old Gobind Rai, he is the one that keeps everyone in Chardi Kala. He tells them, our father, my father, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji is always with us. He is the doer of the world's play. No one can tie him up. No one can bind him. Still the mothers ache. They told me, go to Delhi, bring us words, bring us peace. Guru Sahib, the Sangat awaits your message, your hukam, your guidance. And then Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji requested for paper and ink. The jailer now awakened in dharam and faith, and Sikhi bowed and hurried off. He brought forth a quill, a small pot of ink, and fresh sheets of paper to the iron cell. The guards, once jailers, now Sikh, stand reverently silent. And within those bars, the 9th Guru began to write. And what he was writing was Salok Mahalla Nava, words born from calm sacrifice and divine wisdom, each line a seed for the ages. Gun Gobind gayo nahi, janam akarat कीना, कहो नानक हर पज मना, जह बिद जल को मीना. Guru Sahib wrote, if you do not sing the praises of the Lord, your life is rendered useless. What's the point? He writes, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj meditates and says, meditate, vibrate upon the Lord, immerse your mind in Him like a fish in the water. And in this way, 49 sloks flowed from that iron cage, verses of renunciation and radiant peace, medicine for the pain of the people. Immortal shabads and words. Each stroke of the pen turned sorrow into Simran. Each word dismantled fear. Such power in these saloks. And then Guru Sahib wrote 3 saloks for his mother Mata Nanaki Ji to dry the tears from her eyes. Ram gayo Ravan gayo, जाको बहु परवार, कहो नानक थर कछ नहीं, सुपने जो संसार. Ramchandra, the great Maryada Purushottam, passed away despite all of his good deeds, as did the wicked Ravan, even though he had lots of relatives, army and people. And Guruji says nothing lasts forever. Know this world to be like a dream, because it is that. Chinta taki kijiye, jo anahoni hoye, eh marg sansar ko, nanak thir nahi koye. People become anxious when something unexpected happens. This is the way of the world. And Guruji says, nothing is stable and permanent. These things, the unexpected ones, they happen. Jo upjio so bin saha, paro aaj ke kaal, nanak har gun gaye le, Shad sagala janjal. Jo upjo, whatever has been created shall be destroyed. Everyone and everything shall perish, today or tomorrow. Guruji says, sing the glorious praises of the Lord and give up all other entanglements. All the other webs, leave them alone. In those lines he comforted her. Do not grieve, but do the Simran of the true name. All that is born must die. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji then turned his heart towards his son, the one who would go on to be known as Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, to test his strength and to awaken his purpose. Dohra bal shutkyo bandhan pare, कशु न होते उपाय, कहो नानक अब ओट हर, गज जो हो सहाय. My strength is exhausted, my power seems spent, I am bound by chains and tied up, nothing can be done now. I cannot do anything at all. Guruji says, now the Lord is my support, He will help me as He did the elephant. Through that dohra, Guruji whispered remembrance, a reminder of their ancient forms, Rishi Samund and Dushtadamman, who once destroyed the demons by invoking the divine. Now the demon is Aurangzeb, and you must awaken once again to protect the world. Guruji continued to write, Sang Saka Sab Taj Gaye, Kahu na Nibeo Saath, Kaho Nanak eh Bipt mein, Tek ek Raghunath. My associates, my relatives and friends have left me. No one remains with me. No one stays to the end. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, in such tragic times, seek the refuge of the Lord. The Lord alone is your support. 49 sloks written for the Sangat. 3 for the mothers and 1 for his son. Every verse a lamp against the coming night of darkness. He gathered the pages, folded them with care, and he called the messenger close. And Guruji told him, take these sloks to Sri Anandpur Sahib, deliver them to my son, tell him to send a response quickly, the time for my departure is near. Do not speak of my death, and do not rest on the way. Tell the Sangat, do not worry, remember the true name Satnam. My body will fade, but the word, the Shabad will remain forever. The Sikh bowed deeply. He bowed again, and then he left, walking and running day and night through dust and wind, never stopping, never getting weary. He walked under the Guru's blessing. He crossed Ropar, passed through Giratpur and finally reached Sri Anandpur Sahib, carrying the letter that would shape generations. The last words by the Master, the 9th Master in chains, the living scripture of fearless surrender. The sun had only just lifted on the mountains of Anandpur Sahib, and in the Amrit Vela hours, the young Guru Gobind Rai had done Ishnan and recited their Nitnem, only 9 years old, and sat in the divan listening to Kirtan. The moment was still until a dust-covered Sikh entered. He bowed low, tears glistening in his beard, and he placed the folded paper, the folded letter in Guru Sahib's hands. The letter written by his father, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, from the iron cage in Delhi. Each stroke of ink carried the heartbeat of a saint in chains. These salok are the ones that we can recite every single day. And Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj read these saloks, but he saw not just words but divine light, the essence of courage, renunciation and truth. He rose quickly and walked towards the chambers where Mata Nanaki Ji and Mata Gujri Ji sat together, both lost in remembrance, eyes wet, hearts trembling. Sangat sat nearby, silent and heavy. They had already heard about the Shaheedi of the great Bhai Mati Das Ji, Bhai Sati Das Ji and Bhai Lakhi Ji. Now the young Gobind Rai entered. Dadi Ji, Mata Ji, look. Guru Sahib has sent this letter. He says, do not worry. They are teachings for all of us. For you, for Mataji, for me, for the Sangat. Listen. He handed the Merwa the letter, who unfolded it with trembling hands and began to read the sloks of Nome Pacha out aloud. Every verse was a mirror showing them the truth through tears. The Sangat wept. The mothers held each other's hands. Even the air felt sacred with sorrow. And then the Delhi messenger spoke. Guruji wished that the Sahibzada hears the slok meant for him and sends back a message quickly. Time is short. Guruji waits for your words. And the young Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj, Gobind Rai, barely 9 years older than time itself, sat still. He understood the hidden meaning behind the slok. He knew what his father had written between the lines. And in his heart he thought, my father is the ocean of compassion. He can hold the sun and turn the tides. The Mughals are but dust beneath his gaze. Why would such a being seek help from me? But he also knew this was a test, a calling. A moment when divine light passed from father to son, and the young warrior grew to be, then wrote his reply, written by Gobind Rai, Gobind Singh, son of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. Bal hoa bandan shute, sab kish hote upaye, नानक सब किश तुमरे हाथ में, तम ही होत सहाय. My strength has been restored and my bonds have been broken. You, the master of all, possess all strength, yet remain silence. You can do what you wish in the blink of an eye. O Nanak, everything is in your hands, Lord. You are the helper and support. You are the protector, and you protect everyone. You protect yourself. It was both a response and a revelation. A recognition of the Father's sacrifice was not weakness, but divine play. Guru Gobind Singh continued writing about the Sangat's faith, the family's devotion, and the calm in Anandpur Sahib despite the pain. Then he looked up and he realised dawn was coming quick. The time of my father's Shaheedi sacrifice is coming. His body will fall in Delhi, but his spirit will rise. His spirit will live here. He summoned the Sikh and said, "Take this letter, fly like the wind, do not rest, no one shall see you, no one will stop you, never stop reciting Gurbani, keep your eyes on Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib and go now." The messenger bowed and prepared and left. Both mothers stepped forward, hearts trembling. Mata Nanaki Ji. She told him, "Tell my son I am old, I've seen much pain. What is the last sorrow you're about to show me?" And Mata Gujari, through tears, said, "Tell me, I long to see his face again. In any way he can, let him grant me that vision. My heart rests at his feet." And soon enough they would see it. They would both see Guru Sahib's face. They would both hold Guru Sahib close after the Shaheedi, when he or cease arrives in Anandpur Sahib. The Sikh bowed again, and like I said, he ran through the forests and fields day and night, commanded by divine command. Eventually he reached Delhi, entered the prison courtyard, and he saw Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji calm in the iron cage, radiant as the sun, and he placed the letter before him. Guru Ji and Anandpur Sahib stand strong. The Sahibzada sends his salutations, namaskar, and he's written his response. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji opened the letter, and his eyes move across the line, written by his son, a smile deep as creation. He saw the light that would outshine empires. He saw patience, strength and restraint of a being who could rule yet chose humility. He whispered to himself, "For this son, for Guru Gobind Singh I did penance upon Hemkund. For him I sat in Bakala, meditating through ages. He is Dushtadaman reborn. Blessed by Chandi, his power is infinite, but his heart remains humble. Only one holding the lightning in his hand and still smiling like the moon can sit on this throne of Guru Nanak." And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji then said, "Bring me a coconut and 5 coins. The Sikh obeyed, swiftly returned with the offerings pure and simple, and Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji held them close, closed his eyes and focused his thoughts upon his son. He bowed deeply, transferring the light of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the eternal jyot of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, into the heart of Gobind Rai, who would be Guru Gobind Singh. And thus, in a Delhi cell of chains and cruelty, the Guruship passed on from father to son, from the 9th to the 10th jyot. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji placed the coconut and coins before the Sikh and told him, "Go quickly, place these before Sri Gobind Rai and bow. Tell him, he is now the Guru. Do not rest, do not fear, go in peace." He then wrote the final saloks. Naam reho sadhu reho Guru Gobind, Kaho Nanak eh jagt mein gin japyo gurmant. Akal Purukh's name will remain, the saints will remain, Guru Gobind, the light of the universe, will remain. Says Nanak, how rare are those who chant the Guru's mantra in this world. The Sikh bowed, tears flowing from his face to the Guru's charan, and he set off once again, fearless, swift, carrying the final command from the martyr of the whole of humanity. In Anandpur Sahib that same night, Mata Gujari awoke uneasy from dreams, visions of storms and blood. She could not return to sleep. She sat awake, eyes fixed on the floor, breath tight with worry. A dream clings to her like smoke. Coconut and 5 coins laid at her child's feet, then her head, sanctified but severed. Guru Gobind Singh entered quietly and kneeled beside his mother. And that young Gobind Rai asked gently, Mataji, you're usually ready at Amrit Vela, but what burdens your heart now? And Mata Gujari spoke, her voice shaking. I saw your father placing coconuts and coins before you. He placed a coconut and 5 coins before you. You know what this means. Then I saw his head separate from his body. Send a rider to Delhi now. The storm is upon us. Guru Sahib nods, a Sikh is summoned, saddled and blessed. The horse plunges into the road like an arrow. Meanwhile, in Delhi, Aurangzeb burns with hunger he can't satisfy. One man stands between his will and the world, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. So he sharpens his terms to a single edge. Convert, show me a miracle or die. That's it. Convert, show me a miracle or die. He calls the Maulana and the Umar and all his people, and in a cold voice he says, go, break him with rewards of whatever, or fear, offer land or gold, even Zeb or Nisa's hand in marriage. If he refuses, demand a miracle. If he refuses again, I will make an example of him today. They find the ninth light, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, seated behind bars, sitting like he was sitting on a throne, unmoved by hunger, sleep or chains. The Maulana, oily and persuasive, speaks, Guruji, why such stubbornness? The emperor's gifts are oceans. Convert, you'll be crowned among saints, or show a miracle like Ram Rai does. Refuse both and you will be executed. And Guru Sahib's response and reply is simple. I love my dharam. One who abandons his faith out of fear or for greed is beaten inwardly in his life and outwardly in the next. I desire neither wealth nor women, nothing. Anything you have is rubbish, means nothing before faith. Your emperor is drunk on junk and glory, and he forgets that his forefathers received this crown from the Guru's door. Now he speaks like an idiot, and he spends that grace like a fool. And miracles? What's wrong with him? A saint of God does not perform miracles and tricks to entertain the world. Those who juggle wonders for applause are ashamed in the court of the timeless. I will not convert. Ask me 1,000,000,000 times and I will refuse 1,000,000,001. As for the third thing, my head is ready. Not to end a faith, but to ensure it never ends. I will sacrifice for others. I will sacrifice for people's freedom. I will sacrifice for dharam. The time had come. Every word he had spoken, every offer refused. The iron cage could not bend the will of the Almighty. And now is about to come the gateway to eternity. The Maulana and Umravs stormed back to the palace. Emperor, they cried, the Guru does not bow. Torture, hunger, threats, nothing shakes him. He is utterly fearless, divine. The smile has never left his face. He sits in that cage like a king. You could never sit like that. Aurangzeb, the tyrant drunk on power, frowned and muttered. He calls himself Tegh Bahadur. What courage is behind that name? What courage hides behind that name? What kind of saint has a name, a soldier's name? Go and ask him what his name means. If he can't explain it, he shall die for it. They came last time now before the Guru, expecting to see fear, but finding him as vast as the sky, and they ask, the emperor wishes to know, who named you Tegh Bahadur, and what does your name mean? Guru Tegh Bahadur replied after a short silence, name and form belong to the body, the soul has neither. The soul is truth, awareness and bliss. But since you ask, I will tell you. I was given this name by my father. Guru HarGobind Sahib. And when I was 13, the army of Shah Jahan attacked my father with 78,000 soldiers. We were only 1,800, yet every one of their blades fell, and they fell with it. I too fought that day. I swung my sword with courage and fought frontline on the battlefields, and my name means this: I strike with the sword, and I can bear the sword's strike also. So bring your sharpest blade from the forges of Halab or Janab, Halabi, Janabi, whatever Surohi or Talwara swords you have, and wrap your greatest sword, your greatest executioner's sword, thick and heavy and sharp, wrap its edge with paper and tie it with a thread. Let your strongest executioner strike my neck, and I promise you this: the sword will not even cut the paper, let alone my neck. A pause. The officers glance at each other, shocked and frightened, and they run back to Aurangzeb trembling. Sire, the Guru who refuses miracle now claims a miracle will happen in the name of his own sword. Aurangzeb's eyes gleamed. He fetched the finest Damascus steel blade, so sharp that an ant could not crawl on it without dying. A paper was carefully wrapped around the edge, a thread tied, and then he summoned Jalaluddin of Samana, a huge man, thick, heavy, strong, an executioner by trade. He had killed thousands upon thousands, his arm thick like tree trunks, powerful, and he sent with him 2 officers to the Guru's cage. By morning, word had spread through the whole of Chandni Chowk that Guru was to be executed, and Guru was then walked to Chandni Chowk. People lined the way, everyone climbed rooftops, filled balconies, their hearts filled with awe and terror. And that same hour the Sikh from Anandpur finally reached. He met the jailer, and he was led to the Guru moments before his Shaheedi. And he said, Guruji, I've come from Anandpur Sahib, I met your Sahibzade, they await news. And Guruji then tells him, calm and radiantly, listen, today is my final day of this body. Stay near. When the sword falls, my head will come to your lap. Take it to Anandpur Sahib. My son will cremate it. Let my mother and my wife have darshan. Do not fear, no one shall see you. And that Sikh understood his mission. They knew it was time. The Sikh cried. The guards too began to weep, and Guruji told them, no tears. Remember the command of the Eternal. Whatever is born must die. Hold firm onto faith, because this is everything. Then he turns to Bhai Guru Tegh Ji, descendant of Baba Buddha Ji. Final words. When I am gone, you'll be free. Go to where your heart leads, Anandpur Sahib or Ramdaspur or wherever you want. Baba Guru Tegh Ji, pleading, water in his eyes, says, Guruji, I can't live without you. I wanted to sacrifice here with you. Wherever you go, take me. Guruji then tells him, go to the place your ancestors once camped, 15 kilometers south from here. There your soul will leave this earth, and you will join me in Sachkhand. We will be together forever. The gates opened, and Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, more than 6 foot tall, broad-shouldered, serene, stepped out of the cage, his face glowing like 1,000 suns. The crowd fell silent now in Chandni Chowk. Even the soldiers lowered their eyes. Everyone felt the power. Guru Sahib was led to the well of Chandni Chowk. They drew water and had ishnan, and then stood beneath a tree. They spoke to Jalaluddin, the executioner. He said, I will sit and recite Japji Sahib when I bow my head and lift my head again, then strike. He closed his eyes. The lips began to move, the verses began, each one a river returning to the ocean. Ek oankar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirpo Nirvair Kal Murat Junni Saipang Gur Prasad Jap Ad Sach Jugad Sach Hai pi sach, Nanak hosi pi sach. And so Japji Sahib started, and it continued up until the slok. Bhavan Guru Pani Pita, Mata Tart Mahat. And as Guru Sahib concluded the slok, at is exactly 11 a.m. on Thursday, Maghar Suddhi Panchami, 1732 Vikrami Samvat, so November the 11th on 1675, the Saviour of Freedom completed Sri Japji Sahib da Path, bowed their head on the bog as we all do. Then as they raised the head, a sharp inhale, then a deep silence. Jalaluddin swung his sword at the head of the Guru. With full might, he's never swung a sword like he did this day. But the head was already gone. The blade met only air. It didn't even chop through the paper. The paper tied to the edge of the sword did not tear, did not rip, did not cut. Jalaluddin's strike went kali. He fell forwards. He was in utter shock. Before the sword even touched Guru Sahib's cease, the cease separated itself. For which sword is there that could cut the Guru? None. And suddenly a storm erupted. Dust filled every eye. The city plunged into darkness as people cried, "Hi, hi, hi!" People screamed blasphemy. The heavens raged. The earth shook. The sky trembled. Delhi itself seemed to mourn. And through the swirling dust, the messenger Bhai Jaita Ji knelt, and the Guru's head appeared glowing in his lap, in his joli. He wrapped it in cloth, filled it with neem leaves, and began his journey back to Anandpur Sahib. Through Jamna, past Ambala, Naba, Kirtpur, day and night, he walked with fire in his veins and Simran on his lips. Bhai Jaita Ji, whispering as he walked, "Protect me, Guruji. Let me deliver you to your son." Behind him the storm eased, and when the dust cleared, he was gone. And Delhi saw, the whole of Delhi saw, a headless body of the Guru, majestic even in death. A hush spread through the empire. Even Aurangzeb's heart quivered, for he had struck not a man, but truth itself. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji gave his head but not his faith. He stood for those who could not stand for themselves. He proved that one man in chains could free the conscience of the world and change history forever. The sword could not cut flesh. It could not cut courage. It could not cut Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. The wind carried his head with it, the fragrance of freedom. And from the higher realms came Brahma, Vishnu and Shiv Ji, Indra and countless other celestial beings. They looked down upon Chandni Chowk, their eyes filled with awe. Never before had any soul given their head to save an entire world. The Devta gathered in the skies rejoicing, for the traditions that invoked their names, the mantra that fed their energy had been saved by one sacrifice. They descended with garlands and hymns, for they saw the true vessel of divine light. The truth, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. And those with pure hearts could see it. Others only saw a storm-lit sky, and the Devta sung, "Jai Guru, Jai Guru." The whole world cried, "Ha ha ha, sab jag payo, Jai 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 Soralok." The Devta sung Jai Jai, glory, glory. What you have done, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, no avatar, no rishi, no king has done. You've given your head and saved the Dharam itself. The fire that feeds the whole worlds, the prayers, the offerings, the balance, the protection. You protected all. If Dharam had perished, we would have perished too. The whole world would have perished. Everything would have been over. They then performed Aarti of the Guru. They chants rippled through the skies of Delhi, again singing Jai, Jai, Jai. Meanwhile, back in Delhi's Red Fort, Aurangzeb, the emperor, trembled. A strange fear gripped his heart. The wind howled through the marble halls, carrying with it the dust of guilt. His lips were dry, his mind restless. He felt shadows of death standing in his room. He turned towards his door, eyes open, and saw nothing. Then officers entered, pale, shaken, their duty dusty from Chandni Chowk. Guru Sahib, given their life. And Aurangzeb was here crying and asking, What happened? Speak. And Jalaluddin spoke, Emperor, the Guru, he did it. When I swung my sword, his head vanished before I even got there. The paper and thread remained uncut. Everybody saw it. And no one knows where the head went. The sword only touched air. My strike went kali. There was a long, heavy silence. The Emperor's heart sank. His own words echoed back at him, hollow and empty. And in despair he spoke, He has made me guilty of his death. I wanted his conversion. Instead, he has conquered my soul. He has saved the Hindu dharam and faith and shamed my throne. He slammed his fists, breathing unevenly. He did not show a miracle. He was a miracle. The advisors, afraid of the silence, spoke hastily. Do not worry, my lord. It was his fault, not yours. Others have died. Samad, Dara, Sakor, forget this. This death is nothing. But the emperor could not forget. And doubt gnawed at him like fire. Outside, the city's crier's voice, distant and hollow, heralded out. The emperor commands any Sikh may come and claim the Guru's body for cremation. But fear had gripped Delhi. Sikhs had hid behind locked doors, whispering in trembling voices, Aurangzeb is mad. He killed the saint of saints, the great Guru. How dare we step forward? We will also be killed. Windows stayed shut, torches burned low, and beneath the board tree, near the well, the body of the great Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji lay still, radiant, unguarded by fear. Surrounded by Mughal soldiers, too ashamed to even look and meet its gaze. On the road to Anandpur, Bhai Jaita Ji walked through the night, a basket of neem leaves on his head, carrying the cease of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, while the body lay in Delhi. The head journeyed to Anandpur Sahib, but the soul ascended to Sachkhand. Thus ended and began an eternal freedom. Delhi held its breath. Under the board tree, the well, the Guru's body lay. And in the alleys of the city, a trader heard the news and burned with shame. Lakhi Shah Vanjara, a Lubana Sikh, with many bows, 7 sons, and a heart full of faith, came forward. And he whispered, we hid when we should have bled. Forgive us, Guruji. Help me carry you home. And by dusk, Chandni Chowk began to shake. 400 bull carts, piled high with cotton, poured into the market like a river that had learned to roar 10,000 bulls. Neck bells clanging, herders shouting, brr, brr. Staffs on shoulders, kicked up a wall of sand and swallowed the sun. Eyes stung, doors slammed, even guards squinted, cursing the storm and the stampede. And in that moving fog of dust and bells and bulls, Lakhi Shah's sons lifted the Guru's body and laid it softly on the cotton bed on one of the back of these carts. The cotton drank the blood. It soaked it up, and the dust kissed the secret. And there, in the middle of this chaos, they took the Guru's body away. When the wind cleared, the spears found only emptiness. Panic sprinted down every line. Carts were halted, counted and searched. One was missing. Accusations flew. The Lubanas, they spoke out and claimed, search us again, we got nothing to hide. But they had everything to hide. The Guru themselves, they took Guru Sahib's body. And they took Guru Sahib's body home. Here, they took wood, and a funeral pyre was made. With such love, they poured ghee on it stacked the wood, performed ardas and lit the flames, and they set their home on fire. And the fire burned. They burned their whole home in the fire to do sanskar of the Guru's body. Because if they'd done the sanskar out, people would have spotted, they would have got in trouble. And they thought, to disguise this sanskar, we'll burn our own house down. People spend their whole lives building their houses, and these guys burnt it down to do seva of the Guru. Then, after the fire was burnt, they gathered the ashes and put them into 2 copper urns, dug a deep grave where the fire was, and they buried these urns there. And they laid the body to rest where fear had refused to stand. And there, over time, a nishani rose. Gurdwara Rakhab Ganj Sahib now stands there, Delhi's living witness to courage that can outwit empires. The urns, they say, are still buried beneath that earth. And history many times tried to bury this place. Thrones shifted, mosques were raised, courts contested. But the Singhs returned. The army of the Khalsa Panth Shromani Panth Akali Buddha Dal fought for this place. Baba Baghel Singh, Baba Jassa Singh Ahluwalia, Baba Jassa Singh Ramgiriya, and the Dals and the Nihang Singh Khalsa fought for this place with steel in hand. And they protected it and preserved it. And they turned that memory into marble and prayer, and the Gurdwara Sahib was built and looked after. For us to remember the genius, a merchant's caravan became a cloak, cotton a shroud, and a citywide sandstorm a scream, and a burning home and house, the funeral of a king's body. This is how love moves when swords are watching. This is how faith works. When fear takes the streets, they burnt their own home to do the divine Guru Sanskar. And in Delhi that night, fire learned a new word for courage, and that word was Lakhi Shah Vanjara. Delhi was restless, from the wells to Chandni Chowk to the red walls and the palace. One whisper echoed, the Guru's head is gone, and now the body too. Guards searched the streets, every gate, every cart, every corner, but nothing, not a trace of the king's body, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib's body. The report reached Emperor Aurangzeb, the tyrant, and he stared into the air as if silence had mocked himself. How, he uttered. How, so many guards, so many eyes, and yet the Guru vanishes from under heaven itself. They all trembled. They tried to say to him, don't worry, you've done your duty. The Guru refused the Sharia. This is his own doing. But even as they spoke, truth clawed at his heart. And Aurangzeb was saying to himself, he would not convert, he saved their faith, and now he lives forever in their hearts. He summoned the jailer who entered, and he said, what have you done? The head is gone, the body is gone, and you watch them vanish. The jailer replied, I swear. It happened before our eyes. A storm rose, and there was nothing we could do, nothing. And later in that door, bulls and carts stormed the streets. It was a stampede. They were in the way. We could do nothing. And to this the emperor said nothing. He couldn't. But that night, when he tried to sleep, sleep betrayed him. He sat before his silver dishes, many different meats, countless delicacies, but not one could pass down his throat. His appetite was ash, his pride hollow. And when he closed his eyes and lied down, Bhai Mati Das Ji came. The air froze. The divan of the Guru, the first amongst the martyrs, stood glowing like a flame of justice. And the emperor's bed was overturned. He hit the ground. Bam! And Bhai Mati Das, the voice of thunder, spoke, if you sleep in Delhi again, I will strike you down. You will wander this world in torment, and when your breath ends, you will fall into the pits you have dug. You have slain the great Guru, the saint of all saints, and now the hands of the Shaheeds will taunt you and haunt you. Aurangzeb saw the face, the same face that he had ordered to be sawn in half alive. The same eyes now blazing with the fire of truth, and he screamed like the coward he was. Servants came rushing him, and they found their king trembling, his pants wet, his bed overturned, his heart pounding like a drum of doom. He said nothing to him. How could he? How could he explain the terror of the righteous. All night he sat awake. Every rustle felt like a sword drawn. Every shadow seemed to whisper, Shaheed. By dawn he bathed in cold fear. He read the Quran with shaking hands. He offered prayer after prayer in Mitti Masjid, but peace would not come, for how could it? Then he rose from the mat. He made a vow. I will not sleep in Delhi ever again. He lived 32 more years, but not one night beneath that cursed sky of Delhi. He wandered gardens and desert, haunted by the echo of the name he could not silence. Tegh Bahadur. Dhan Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. And this was the Sakhi of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji's Shaheedi. भूल चुक माफ़ करना। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।